till next year. You better be ready. Strap in and hold tight. It's time to kick off this wild card fight. Hit it. Come on and hit it. Come on and get ready. Are you ready for some football? A postseason party. Yes, sir. Down to the kickoff has officially started. There's no neutral quarter in this heavyweight fight. It's the NFL playoffs coming on. That's right. The Louisiana Superdome, home of the New Orleans Saints since 1975, sold out for this NFC Wildcard playoff game as the NFC West champion. New Orleans Saints host the St. Louis Rams. I'm Al Michaels. Welcome to New Orleans. And never since the NFL went to this playoff format in 1990 has there been a more dangerous number 6 seed than the St. Louis Rams. But last year they got to the Super Bowl having to win 2 home games. This year they'll have to win 3 road games. First things first, if they win today, they face the Giants in the Meadowlands next Sunday. Meanwhile, the Saints went 0 for the 1900s in playoff wins. They've been in the league 34 years. They've never won a playoff game. They'll try to do that today under the guidance of Jim Haslett, who took over from Mike Ditka, who went 15-33 in his 3 seasons. Rams Saints coming up from New Orleans.
FedEx presents the air attack and ground attack numbers for today's matchup between the Rams and the Saints. Commentary for today's game can be heard using the SAP feature on your TV where available, presented by Toyota.
On a clear and chilly day in New Orleans, we come back inside the Superdome along with Dan Fouts. Dan, we have an anomaly in this game. You have the number 6 seed on the road against the number 3 seed, and the 6 seed is favored to win fairly big.
Well, it's got to be because of the playoff experience. The Rams had the ultimate experience last year when they went all the way and won the Super Bowl. Now, the Saints feel they got a taste of playoff atmosphere last week, but they're embarrassed and mad at how poorly they played against the Rams, and they're determined to play more disciplined and more physical today. The Rams have a couple of major questions. Which defense will show up, if any, for St. Louis? And on quarterback Kurt Warner's concussion situation, when a quarterback has a concussion, his reactions and decisions slow down. Now, in an offense that is designed on precision and timing, we'll see real early how Kurt feels by how well Kurt performs. Not bad having an aspirin like Marshall Faulk to hand the ball to, though, Al.
Against a very good Saints defense. That's the strength of the team, and this is a team that was 3-13 last year, 10-6 this year. Melissa Stark, how'd they do it?
Well, Al, first of all, they brought in a new head coach, Jim Haslett. He changed the attitude. He brought discipline. The players respect him. Second, they brought in 38 new players. Half of the starters out there today were guys who weren't even here last year. Now, you may think that they feel like the underdogs, but here's their mindset. They think that they played their worst game of the season last week against the Rams, but they only lost by 5 points. So they're very optimistic, Al.
And one of the reasons they played that worst game is one Marshall Faulk. He's always a treat to watch. We'll see him in action today, Eric Dickerson.
Well, that's right. Marshall's a great one. I'll tell you, Al, the consensus is if the Saints hope to win this game, they have to stop Marshall Faulk. Now, last week against the Saints, Marshall Faulk had 200 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns. Now, what the Rams offense did is put themselves in a win-win situation. They had a lot of 2nd and 1, 3rd and 1. What do you do in those situations? The Rams opted to run the football with Marshall Faulk with the quick hitting trap plays, the toss plays. Now, what the Saints need to do is forget about last week, stop all this talking, and get ready to play some football today.
Dennis Miller, you finished your first year on Monday night. We had a lot of great games on Monday night. It's a day game today, but the intensity is a little bit different.
Al, the pitch is so fevered, we just had to give it Tylenol. Welcome to the Deja Vu Bowl, folks. The bonfire, the wannabes preliminaries are over. We're down to the best 11 teams in the league. Now, these two are tough to figure out. On the one hand, it's hard to imagine that St. Louis can float down to Mississippi, beat the Saints 2 times in a row in their own home field. But then again, the Saints were only 3-5 this year in the Superdome. As a matter of fact, that marks the first time in history that a playoff-bound team had a losing record at home. One thing about today's game is for sure, though, and that's that the rest of the combatants in this tourney are probably sad that the Rams got in, because they have life now. And as any Clint Eastwood aficionado will tell you, if you're going to hang them, you better hang them high.
But the Rams have the Marshals on Wildcard Saturday. Kurt Warner Marshall Faulk, Isaac Bruce, and the world champions coming into New Orleans into the Big Easy to face Jim Haslett's Western champion Saints. New Orleans at the mouth of the Mississippi. Beautiful New Orleans, some great sights, of course, with Bourbon Street and Jackson Square. And the site of several Super Bowls, including the Super Bowl following the 2001 season. This year's Super Bowl, of course, played in Tampa. Will either of these teams get there? First step today. If New Orleans wins, they go to Minnesota next Saturday. If the Rams win, they go to face the Giants in the Meadowlands on Sunday. Saints have won the toss. Back to receive is Fred McAfee. And McAfee is a Saint from long ago who then was around the league, primarily with the Pittsburgh Steelers, brought back here by Jim Haslett. Jeff Wilkins, who had a perfect year. He did not miss an extra point or a field goal attempt, despite missing several games with an injured leg. Sends it skyward, and away we go from New Orleans as McAfee takes it from the 4-yard line. Still on his feet, out past the 20 to the 23-yard line. And now let's meet the New Orleans starting lineup, the backs and receivers.
Aaron Brooks, quarterback, University of Virginia.
Terry Allen, running back, Clemson University.
Brian Milne, fullback, Penn State University.
Willie Jackson, wide receiver, University of Florida.
Joe Horn, wide receiver, Douglas Byrd High School. Lamont Hall, tight end, Clemson University.
Aaron Brooks was a Green Bay Packer last year, was on the bench, and then the Saints acquired him in a trade earlier this year to back up Jeff Blake out for the year with a broken foot. And on first down, they give the ball to Terry Allen, taking the place of the injured Ricky Williams. And here are the guys up front, a good New Orleans offensive front.
William Rowe, offensive tackle, Louisiana Tech University.
Kyle Turley, offensive tackle, San Diego State University.
Wally Williams, guard, the Rattlers of Florida A&M University.
Chris Naoli, guard, University of Colorado.
Jerry Fontenot, center, Texas A&M University.
Rowe, Naoli, and Turley were all #1 draft choices. From the 27 on 2nd and 6. Allen again for a gain of 1. It'll be 3rd down and 5. Let's meet the Ram defensive line and linebackers. And we have a little skirmish up at the 40-yard line. We have London Fletcher and Lamont Hall, the tight end, already going at it.
I think the Saints will make that trade.
Well, what happened there, I mean, Lamont Hall drove London Fletcher about 20 yards down the field. Here he is, 81 and 59, and then he pancakes him. Now he's going to dive on top. This is what we're going to expect, because this is what this rivalry is all about. It gets real chippy.
Well, maybe the coaches send them out, say they're going to be watching us. They're probably going to throw somebody out if there's a fight. Lamont, why don't you take their leading tackler out?
3rd down and 4. Chad Morton is the 3rd down back. Out of the shotgun, Brookie's first pass is caught. I think they're going to rule that it was caught, and he hit the ground, and then the ball came loose after the whistle.
That
appears to be the indication.
That was the signal that man right there, number 72, Terry Gerke, gave. He pointed to the ground as if the receiver was down.
Control of the ball. It's incomplete. 4th down.
And then he was overruled by another official looking from the other side.
The Saints fans have a beef with Gerke.
There it is to Horn. Scary part about this play is watch how his leg gets bent over. That's why he let go of the ball. Looked like he hurt his right knee on that play.
And he is still down, and there he is, and he is their primary receiver by a mile.
Yeah.
He caught 94 balls this year. Ricky Williams, who's already inactive because of his mending ankle, would be second at 44.
Well, he really got bent over, too, on that right leg. This is a terrible sign for Saints fans to see their #1 threat being helped off the field.
This is a massive blow if Horn cannot come back, because he has had a breakout year.
Well, the one thing that Jim Haslett said is that they lost their quarterback, they lost their running back in Blake and Williams. Horn is actually the last of the superstars, the last of the guys that they can count on to make plays.
So Toby Goins' punt is fair caught at the 32-yard line by Oz Hakeem. Saints go 3 and out on their first possession. They worked on Horn. Let's meet the Rams backs and receivers.
Well, they say the concussion affects the quarterback playmaking decision. Last night, Warner showed up for his pregame interview in an orange shirt and orange tie. So I'm wondering about his lucidity.
Second down and 6 from the 37-yard line. And they give it to Falk again. He takes it up to the 39-yard line. He touched the ball 39 times last week. Let's meet the Saints front seven defensively.
Darren Howard, defensive end, Kansas State University. Joe Johnson, defensive end, University of Louisville. Norman Hand, defensive tackle, Ole Miss University. Leroy Glover, defensive tackle, San Diego State University.
Keith Mitchell, outside linebacker, Texas A&M.
Mark Fields, outside linebacker, Washington State University.
Darren Smith, linebacker, University of Miami.
Glover, Johnson, and Howard all in double figures in sacks. Glover led the league with 17. Warner buys time on third down, escapes the sack, then throws, and it's caught for a first down by Roland Williams. So Warner passes his first test.
He certainly did. Roland Williams picked up the first down, but on the other end of it, it's when Leroy Glover, who had 17 sacks to lead the NFL, misses right here. Warner showing strength as he pivots away, heads down the field, finds his outlet tight end. That's a huge play for Warner's confidence and for this football team to be able to beat this pass rush single-handedly by the quarterback.
From the 44 on 1st and 10 after the game's first down. Falk, and he runs right into big 99, Norman Hand. Saints secondary.
Alex Molden, cornerback, University of Oregon, Fighting Ducks. Kevin Mathis, cornerback, East Texas State University.
Sammy Knight, strong safety, University of Southern California. Darren Perry, free safety, Penn State University.
Now that defensive backfield, we'll see all 7 defensive backs in the game at one time. Ron Zook, defensive coordinator, says they got to match up. When the Rams go with 4 wide receivers, he'll put 7 DBs in the game.
Second and 8. Play clock down to 2. They get it off at 1. And Warner, after the play fake, throws, and coming back is Bruce to make the catch. He got position on Alex Molden and moves the ball into Saint territory.
Well, if it's first down, they're going to be throwing the ball to Isaac Bruce. Here he is on the top side. It's a down and to the out, but watch how sharp he cuts off his route there. Molden slips just a little bit, and Bruce with a great move there. The one thing, he hasn't been in the end zone very much lately. No touchdown catches for this great receiver in the last 6 games.
Warner had a little pressure from Norman Hand. How do the Chargers let players like that leave that organization?
Hand actually gave him a pretty good whack at the 34-yard line after a 20-yard gain. Back they go to the league MVP, and Falk fights his way for 4 or 5 yards. He does that so brilliantly, it looks like he stopped at the line of scrimmage. The next thing you know, it's 2nd and 5.
I know, it's like he's doing the Charleston, the feeder up, down.
What a thrill for him to be able to play in his hometown. Back-to-back games, 6 days apart. Here's some of those Charleston moves there, Dennis.
Well, he went to Carver High School in New Orleans, and tell you a little bit about his all-around play. He played QB, running back, wide out, and cornerback for Carver.
There are his numbers in his 2 seasons with the Rams on 2nd and 6 into double coverage, and it's almost intercepted and then almost caught on the rebound by Hakeem. Molden and Perry were back there. Bruce, the intended receiver, and alertly Hakeem came in and almost picked off the deflection for a touchdown.
Well, Molden and Perry played great defense. Unfortunately, it was on each other. They might have had an interception here.
Here, Hakeem, ball underthrown. Molden gets the ball knocked away by Perry, and you're right, Al. Isaac Bruce almost came in and made an incredible touchdown catch right there. Had his hands underneath the ball, but made contact with a defender and couldn't hang on. And Dennis, you're right. Great defense in a bad time.
So we're all right, Al.
It's all good. 3rd and 6. Warner picks up the first down, and making the grab, having to reach behind him, is Roland Williams, and Williams has made 2 third-down receptions on the Rams' opening drive.
You know, it's so infrequently that we see Warner put it anywhere except right on the dot, even when it's a little bit behind like that. It makes you wonder if he's still feeling dinged.
One thing he wants to do is he wants to start throwing some more touchdowns. He's only thrown 3 since he came back from his broken finger injury, so that may have been one of the reasons he tried to force that one to Akeem on the play previous.
One of the reasons he has only 3 is Paul keeps running the ball into the end zone. Marshall with 11 touchdowns in the final 3 games of the regular season. From the 16-yard line, they give it to Falk. And Falk is able to knife his way for a 3-yard gain to the 13. What about Joe Horn? Let's check in with Melissa Stark.
All right, Al, well, the bad news is he has a lateral sprain on his right ankle. Surprisingly, his ankles weren't taped, so they've taped up that ankle. Now, the good news is they have not ruled him out. He's testing it out to see if he can go back in.
And what a big blow that would be. They're already minus Keith Poole, another receiver who would be their number 3 receiver coming into the game. There is Horn. Poole was the victim of that Devin Bush hit last week. So Jake Reed and Willie Jackson are going to be the key guys today, along with Robert Wilson.
And I think Abramowitz comes in after that.
He might, 2nd and 7, and Marshall Falk takes it to the 12-yard line.
The Rams had a lot of success last week with Marshall Falk carrying the ball on similar type of plays, pitch back to the outside. That's because the strength of the Saint defense is right up in the middle. And when the Saints blitz, they want to put pressure on Warner right up the middle. So one way you counter that is to pitch the ball back to a great player like Marshall Falk. Good job this time by the Saints to force them back into the middle where all the big guys and all the help is coming from.
You know, the Rams really carved out some turf at the end of last week's game. The last 2:34 down, they ran the clock out with 6 straight rushes, and I think they put that in the Saints' head that they can run on them.
3rd and 6. So now the Saints with their 7 defensive backs, the 4 on-rushing linemen, and there's a whistle before the snap. No play. Delay a game. Jerry Austin is the ref.
Prior to the snap being made, delay of game, offense. 5 yards, it's still 3rd down.
It's going to make it 3rd down and 11.
How about Marshall Falk last week? All he did was gain 220 yards rushing, scored 3 times, and led his team, as you said, Dennis, on that great last drive when the Saints had to run out the clock to ensure their 5-point victory.
Hey, put this in the impossible, the true thing. In 5 postseason games, Falk has a combined total of just 123 yards. That is mind-boggling.
3rd and 11 from the 17-yard line. Warner protects it well, guns it to the end zone, touchdown. Isaac Bruce. And so the Rams, on their opening drive, a 17-yard touchdown, Warner to Bruce, and the 2 key plays with the 2 third-down receptions to Roland Williams.
Well, he might be light sensitive, but it looks like Warner's f-stop is set at the right position.
Yeah, I think he's okay. I think we can tell that. This is Isaac Bruce's first touchdown reception in 6 games. Great time for it as he gets inside Hawthorne there, the rookie defensive back from Purdue.
And now Wilkins to the point after. The Rams go 11 plays, 68 yards and 5 ticks under 7 minutes. Jim Haslett looking on as his team has fallen behind early.
Reverend Ike preaching to the conversion.
7-0, St. Louis. 5:58 remaining in the opening quarter. The St. Louis Rams, who came in through the side door, through the tradesman's entrance to the playoffs with the win here last week, and then the 54-yard Edinger field goal as Chicago beat Detroit, and now they have the lead 7-0.
Doesn't matter where you enter the place now, as long as you exit through Tampa Bay.
Yep. Wilkins line drive. McAfee from the 1-yard line runs into his own man up at the 20 and returns it to the 30 where he's tackled by Todd Light. So the Saints, for the 2nd time, have the ball there. Bruce's touchdown, 7-0 St. Louis.
Obviously, you fans at home can't see in the booth, but Al, you were doing a happy little Zydeco dance there, weren't you?
Absolutely.
Wow, bad plug. You can tell. Some guys, they just don't, you got to pay top dollar to get them.
Terrible weave. From the 30-yard line, Brooks goes off his back foot and over the middle to the tight end, Andrew Glover. So with Horn on the bench, they go to 1 wide, 2 tights, and Brooks leads them up as if they're going to go without a huddle here, and then they regroup. 16-yard pickup.
And you know what he does is he reads the blitz right in here. Bush comes, and he throws the ball over the tiny middle linebacker, London Fletcher there. Brooks is 6'4". I think he may even be taller. He sees the field exceptionally well.
Only in the NFL can a guy 241 pounds be called tiny.
I was thinking more about that 5'10", which is more like 5'8".
From the 46-yard line, the toss, Terry Allen into Rams territory, and the one-time Viking and one-time Redskin, who was out of work until 5 weeks ago and was picked up by the Saints to replace Ricky Williams, picks up 9.
Totally different second series for the Saints than the first time they had the ball when they went 3 and out. Great cutback by Terry Allen. But this is where Allen is going to make his yardage, between the tackles. He doesn't have the speed to get to the outside, but he has the vision to see the cutback here and the lane open up right up the middle.
Terry in his career, reconstructive surgery on each knee early on, played with New England last year. 2nd and 1, they're going to go over the middle, and it is dropped. They would have had the first down. It was Jake Reed, the longtime ex-Viking, light with the coverage. Ram defensive line now. Jones have to pick it up today and protect the edges. The Rams have been vulnerable to the outside in the last few weeks. In fact, most of the season. Flag, and this is Allen on 3rd down and 1, who gets stopped behind the line.
You know, Carter came out of the box a little slow this year, Al. I think he felt he got punked on his salary, but he came on at the end.
Offline, 99 defense, 5 yards, first down.
That's Agnew. If he got punked on his salary, he punked himself. They offered him an $11 million bonus.
I know, but you know, in his head, and he came out slow, but he did finish with his 3rd consecutive 10-sack season.
Ray Agnew lined up in the neutral zone there, so that gives the Saints an automatic first down.
I agree with you, Al. Once they put anything above $10 million on the table in the form of cold hard cash, signing bonus, you got to take it.
Well, what Carter wanted, it was more money than Michael Strahan, the highest paid defensive lineman, and the Rams said we can't do that. We have too many high salaried guys on this team. $11 million, take it or leave it, and he left it. This is Terry Allen for no gain. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Here's the Rams secondary.
Dexter McCleon. Devin Bush, safety, Florida State University. Keith Lyle, free safety, University of Virginia.
Dexter McCleon had a monster year, Al. 61 tackles, 21 passes, defense, 8 in, 2 sacks.
Right. At one point, we thought he had saved their season in the Tampa Bay game, that Monday night game, with a big interception. But then the Bucs came from behind and won it. 2nd and 11. Brooks surveys, takes off, room to roam, slides for a hold, about 2 yards shy of the first down. The market is about the 32.
Quick first step.
And the Rams will take that on defense. They were just playing that 2-deep zone that you know so well, Dennis. And there's no pass rush at all, but there's also nobody to throw to. There's that first step right up the middle, and the Rams keep him from picking up a first down. But they want to keep their eyes on Brooks, because Brooks is a better runner than Sean King of the Buccaneers, and Sean King absolutely murdered the Rams in that great game we had.
Brooks had 109 yards in a game earlier this season. Got to talk about that clever New Orleans Saints fan, the hell freezes over guy. Was that funny?
3rd and a long 2 as Brooks fires, finds the open man over the middle. It's Chad Morton, the rookie from the University of Southern California, the 3rd down back tackled by Keith Lyle.
There's your guy, and it's getting warmer down south.
That's a very clever costume.
Morton, the 3rd down back, working against the zone again. Look at Bush, let him go to the inside. And Aaron Brooks bought time that time, moved around in the pocket and threw a strike.
Gerald Moore is now in the game, the running back, 32. 3 years ago, he played with the Rams. They take it to him, and then it's over the middle. The fingertips of Andrew Glover. That close to 6 points. Here's Melissa.
Well, Al, it appears that Joe Horn's ankle injury may be more serious than they originally thought. He could barely even walk on it, was grimacing in pain, left the field a few minutes ago to go get x-rays in the locker room. We'll let you know when we have the results.
In the meantime, you can see, Dan, they're going to go to the tight end more. They've gone to Glover twice on this series.
They're going to have to. They're going to have to count on Jake Reed as well. Threw him a ball earlier in this drive. He took a big shot. But when you're as tall as Brooks is, he can find those receivers. And Andrew Glover that time let his quarterback down, dropping that touchdown.
They missed Cam Cleveland.
Second down and 10. Delay, and they give the ball to Gerald Moore, who started this year in the summer. He was in the Oakland camp. And then Randy Mueller has done such a brilliant job as the general manager. The new GM, along with Haslett, brought him in.
Al, wasn't Moore with the Rams last year?
He was with the Rams a couple of years ago. In fact, he was their leading rusher before they resurrected the team, made the trade for Falk, and, of course, last year out of nowhere to win the Super Bowl.
And last week, he was the extent of the Saints rushing attack, ripped off the 40-yarder, but that was about it.
Third down and 9. Brooks out of the shotgun. This drive began at the Saints 30-yard line. A minute and a half to go in the opening period. Brooks backing all the way up, and from the 40-yard line with a flag thrown, the catch is made at the 19 by Robert Wilson. There's a flag down at the 22-yard line.
That ball was simultaneously dangerous and sweet. What a pass.
It was a 3rd and 9.
Holding, defense.
Automatic first down on a 3rd and 9 where Brooks had backed up about 15 yards. They convert through penalty.
You know, Brooks' second cousin is Michael Vick, and he's got some of his chops, doesn't he, Dan?
Yeah, and by moving around like that with those chops, or whatever that is, he forces the Rams in the secondary to reach out and grab one of the receivers because Brooks had 6 or 7 seconds before he let that ball go.
Penalty was on McLean. The holding call, the ball now at the 15. Approaching the final minute of the opening quarter. 7-0 St. Louis. Brooks scrambles away.
Are you kidding me?
And turns a sack into a 3-yard gain to the 12-yard line, breaking out of a Jeff Scanina would-be tackle.
Well, in a season full of surprises, the Saints received the most pleasant surprise with the play of Aaron Brooks. After Blake got hurt, Brooks has proven that he's a double threat, as we've seen, especially on that last play. But, you know, more importantly, he's led the Saints to their first NFC West title since 1991. And in this first playoff start, this second drive made all the big plays.
Waning moments of the quarter. Second down and 6 to the ground again. And the ball in the hands of Gerald Moore for no gain. And that is the way the opening quarter will climax. One period gone in the Big Easy. St. Louis 7. New Orleans nothing. This wildcard playoff game returns after this message and a word from our ABC station. Back we come to New Orleans. Al Michaels, Dan Fouts, Dennis Miller, Eric Dickerson, Melissa Stark. At the Superdome, the Rams on top. The numbers for the first quarter.
Well, these numbers right here represent Kurt Warner getting off to a great start. 4 out of 5 and a 17-yard touchdown pass to Isaac Bruce.
Third down and 7 for the Saints. This long drive began at their own 30 out of the shotgun. Brooks protected well to the end zone. Caught. Touchdown. Robert Wilson.
Wow. This Brooks kid, first time I've seen him, he's unbelievable.
So with Horn out, Robert Wilson, who did not catch a touchdown pass all year, who caught 11 balls all season in his second year from Florida A&M, has put Jim Haslett's team within a point, and now the conversion upcoming.
A lot of QBs coming out of Green Bay, Al. The other guy, Warner, in this game, Brunell, Brooks, they're feeding them something up there.
Doug Ryan for the point after. And so So the big holding call on Dexter McLean keeps the drive alive. Brooks leads them 70 yards to the end zone. Wilson scores 7-7.
Well, the Saints are going to tie it up with a great corner route by Robert Wilson against Todd Light. But the real beauty of this pass and this play is the pass. Perfect ball. He didn't have to reach for it. He could let it come into his body, and now he can talk smack to Todd Light. Look how calm and cool Aaron Brooks is.
Wow. To throw that pass and escape from that rush on the same drive really shows you this kid's the whole package.
Ryan's kick. And this is Tony Horn, who had missed several weeks with a toe injury. One of the best in the league, but that time the Saints are down there to stop him at the 18. Kevin Mathis makes the hit. The big three, the bob and weave of the St. Louis Rams, and that's how they've done thus far. And that's one possession. The Rams had the ball, 11 plays, 68 yards, Bruce scoring.
And so what do the Saints do? They go 11 plays, 70 yards, and get a 12-yard touchdown reception to a guy that's made his first touchdown catch of the year, Robert Wilson.
At 90 grand a pop, I don't think you're going to see the bob and wave much from here on in.
March and Hazlitt, each in his first year, guiding their teams into the playoffs. Warner going deep on first down, but incomplete. Intended for Torrey Holt, double covered on the play. Darren Perry coming from a safety spot along with Kevin Mathis. 2nd and 10. Well, Dick Vermeil guided the team to the Super Bowl last year, then retired 2 days later. And Mike Martz came in, native of South Dakota, as was a great Ram quarterback, Norm Van Brocklin, quarterback's coach under Norv Turner with the Redskins in 97-98, guided this offense last year. Called all the plays, and that elevated him to the top spot when Vermeil decided to go back to pipe and slippers.
In his 32 games in those two positions, 1,066 points now. That's better than Hastings.
2nd and 10 is a flag down. And also, Dan, as you know, it's...
50. 5 yards. It's still second down.
That's Ryan Tucker. Norv Turner, if he gets a head job, I assume, will take it, whether it's college or pro, but Mike Martz and the Rams are talking to Turner about the offensive coordinator spot.
And that would make it a lethal offense, even more lethal, with Turner's mind working along with March. You see Tucker jump off sides there. Rams have 3 penalties, and 2 on that last drive kept drives alive, and offsides against Agnew, and then the pass interference for holding it against McLeon.
2nd and 15 from the 12-yard line. Warner throws, it's tipped, and it's incomplete. Getting a hand on it was Keith Mitchell, who will be going to the Pro Bowl. 59.
That might be your first chippy little shot there, too.
Keith Mitchell's going to be a busy man today. He's going to be responsible for taking Marshall Faulk a lot of the time as the Saints try to match up with their personnel. Here's the tip. Quick little hot read there. Good athletic ability as Warner was trying to squeeze the ball into Ricky Prohl on the hot pass.
3rd and 15. And the decibel level just about maxed out in the dome. Good protection. Warner throws, caught at the 29-yard line. Isaac Cruz coming across the field, making the catch. First down, 18-yard gain.
Isaac Cruz is hot. He is really playing well. Here he is on the move. Watch how softly this ball comes into him. Kevin Mathis thinking he's got help on the outside. He does, but it arrives a little bit too late as Sammy Knight comes over after the catch. But Warner and Bruce just working so smoothly together. 3 catches now for Isaac Bruce.
Rams 4 for 4 on 3rd down thus far. 3 for 3 on the opening drive, which resulted in a Bruce touchdown. First down, 30-yard line. Warner, quick slip over the middle. Holt gets 6 to the 36. I just love the way the Rams patterns are run, Dan. I mean, when you look at it live and you watch it from up here, it's amazing how open these guys get.
And the amazing thing that if the Saints, who led the league in sacks, don't get any more pressure on the quarterback than this, you're going to see this a lot today, Al. You should have a good time watching it because this is what we're going to see. but there's no pass rush. It's a quick three-step drop, little flick sidearm.
Dropped it down to 3/4.
2nd and 4 from the 36. To the ground again. In case you've forgotten about Falk, into Saint territory. Inside the 20, bumped out of bounds. Inside the 15-yard line. They'll mark it at the 13. And a flag, though, for holding. It's going to come back.
How many ways can you kill yourself in the first half of a ball game? The one sure way is to have a lot of flags.
86 offense, 10 yards.
Roland Williams, who bailed out the Rams on their first drive with a couple of catches, is going to reach out and grab. Looks like Keith Mitchell, number 59. Got that right hand right under the jersey. And when Mitchell goes down, all eyes go to him, especially the eyes with the striped shirt.
And that negates a 51-yard run.
And that run represents the longest run from scrimmage by Marshall Falk all year long.
Well, the Saints are going to have to bang Marshall out of bounds. He's not going out on his own ever since they intimated that he might be soft. I noticed last week's game and this week, he's turning everything back in, looking for that last hit.
His longest run during the regular season, 36 yards. He did catch a 72-yard touchdown pass. Justin Watson comes in. He's the running back now. Watson, Falk's backup, takes it up to the 31-yard line. 12 and a half left in the half. Last week, of course, a lot of pushy, shovey. Marshall Falk came about as close as you can get to get thrown out of the game.
Well, he should have been thrown out of the game. He punched Kevin Mathis right here with a right hand. The league said that because he struck him with an open hand, it's not really considered a punch. Well, I think the league really is mincing their words there. That was a punch. There it is right there again. And he should have been thrown out of the game and fined.
I think the league's feeling is he hit him with a marquee hand.
By the way, this is where Roberto Duran said no mas with Sugar Ray. 3rd down and 9 from the 31-yard line. Warner going deep, too deep. Intended for Torrey Holt. He'd gotten out behind Molden. The safety coming over to help with the pass thrown too far. 4th down.
Pressure that time by Keith Mitchell forced Warner to step up into the pocket and speed his clock up just a little bit. He's thrown a couple of long balls here that have been way too far. Everything else looks pretty good on the mark, the intermediate passes, but the long ball has been way off for Warner so far.
You talked to him last night at length. Did he seem a little
he just seemed like he was ready to go. He said he had a good week of practice. And one thing I know about Kurt Warner, he's a very honest young man.
John Baker, the rookie punter, fair caught by Chad Morton at the 26. So the killer was the penalty on Williams, negating the 51-yard Falk run, 7-all. Tuesday night from right here, it'll be the Nokia Sugar Bowl, Jan 2, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Miami against Florida, and the boys made each other's acquaintances the other night. Dan out on Bourbon Street.
Well, you know, I think anything that happens on Bourbon Street is perfectly legal. Everything I've ever seen there has been people have looked the other way.
Some sort of dispute over beads, I believe.
From the 26-yard line on 1st down, Brooks on the draw hands the ball off to Terry Allen, who loses 2, maybe 3.
Well, they're going to need Haslett's mental toughness here, Al, if Horn is out for any length of time, because, well, he's lost 7 starters this year, and he just said he was going to convince this team that there was a whole new game in town. They weren't going to be defeated by things. They were going to keep forging on. So if anybody can get these guys to overcome Horn's loss, it's him. But, boy, how many chess pieces can you lose?
He and Randy Mueller just doing a masterful job, 2nd and 13. And this is Allen stopped in his tracks again. Jim Haslett was the defensive coordinator for the last couple of years under Bill Cowher in Pittsburgh. Prior to that, he'd been here as a linebacker coach. He was a linebacker himself for the Buffalo Bills, and here's action of him with the Buffalo Bills between 79 and 1986.
That quarterback was so handsome.
He was one of those up-and-coming coaches for the last 2 or 3 years. They've been talking about this guy getting a job, and here he is doing a tremendous job in his rookie year as a head coach.
So candid in our meeting, huh?
3rd and 15. Brooks
some. Jackson's a big receiver, too. He's a lot like Eric Moulds at Buffalo, about 6'1", 215 pounds, and he showed that he can run a little bit, but also the key on that one is when he broke the tackles and cut to the outside. He picked up about another 25 yards in doing so.
50-yard pass play, the longest pass play in the storied postseason history of the Saints. The Saints playing only their 5th postseason game, and again they get to win one. Now to Morton, the rookie. McLean forces him out of bounds after a gain of 3.
Real cool in the pocket one more time for Aaron Brooks, and he seems to wait for a long time to find Jackson as he does the crossing route here. After the catch, and the ball is thrown perfectly. Great spin move here. But watch the strength right there as he cuts across the grain and gets to the outside to pick up extra yards.
There's the move you're talking about, Dan. They tried to grab him high, just broke right through it.
On 2nd and 6, they'll convert here, and it's Robert Wilson. So with Horn gone, they go to Wilson, they go to Jackson, they run more double tight end, forced out of bounds by Styles, first down Saints.
And that offensive line is protecting their quarterback as you would expect them to do. Great offensive line. That gives Brooks the feeling that when he gets back there, he can set his back foot, that he can throw on timing here. Watch, as soon as Wilson turns his head around, the ball's on the way, and the Rams are defenseless.
First down, 16-yard line. Allen to the Saints again. You think about it. Jeff Lake, the starting quarterback, broken ankle, gone. Ricky Williams, 1,000-yard rusher, gone. Joe Horn today, gone. And this guy has taken this 3-13 team, revamped it, and here they are, tied with the world champions, and on the move trying to take the lead.
Well, like he said, though, in our meeting the other night, at least he had his offensive line intact for the whole season. And his defensive line congealed when Hand went in the middle, and Leroy Glover was freed up to do a little more freelance.
2nd down and 9. Terry Allen gingerly came off the field after that last play. Brooks, chase, throws, and is it picked off? Did he have possession? Yes. Intercepted, juggled, and staying in bounds was Devin Bush. Tipped it, regained possession, got both feet in. Rams have it.
Brooks just trying to make too much happen here. He's trying to hit Chad Morton, who's a running back. So Chad, number 30 here, trying to ad-lib on the run here. Bush is a safety. He's used to playing man-to-man coverage down here in the red zone, steps right in front of Morton. Morton sits there waiting on the ball. That's a cardinal mistake for any receiver, but excusable for a running back.
And a great play by Bush. Ram ball.
Last.
Want to get away?
Oh.
Now you can. Fly Southwest Airlines coast to coast for $99 or less when you purchase tickets by January 16th and travel Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday.
Devin Bush did not have an interception during the regular season, so he picks one off here to give the Rams the ball at their own 8-yard line. 8:14 left in the first half. Game tied 7-7. And this is Marshall Faulk. Let's go back to last week when Devin Bush put this pop on one Keith Poole.
Yeah, I think this hit really sealed the election for Bush, at least in Poole's mind.
Wow.
That's the hit of the year.
According to Jim Haslett, if Poole runs the right route, he scores a touchdown. But for some reason, Keith thought he should cut it over the middle and right into where Bush was playing.
Well, I think Pavlov will tell you that he will run the proper pattern in the future.
2nd down and 7 from the 11-yard line. Halfway through the second quarter. Faulk again to the 14. Let's go to Melissa.
Al, a huge blow for the Saints. Joe Horn with his injured right ankle. He's out here on the sidelines on crutches, but he will not return. Remember, the x-rays were negative, but he's not coming back to the game.
Joe Horn, I mean, here's a kid who in Kansas City barely had a chance to play, and right now Alex Molden, the cornerback, is shaken. you can't, even after x-rays, and he's not going to come back. How often have you seen a guy, Dan, come out in uniform on crutches?
You know, he's such a vocal player on this team, and he knows that his teammates miss perhaps his voice, so he's going to lend every bit of support he possibly can.
And in uniform. Injury timeout while they work on Molden.
In my house, I have a stair climber. In my house,
I have a stationary bike. In my house, I have
a treadmill.
In my house, a rowing machine.
And they're all collecting dust.
Get out there and explore from your Ford Outfitter. Outfitting you with the most far-reaching sport utilities on Earth. Ford Outfitters, no boundaries.
$60. Platter, $40. Tuxedo, $400. Losing yourself in a movie, priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. Except
there's number 25, Alex Molden, and he may have a sprained ankle as well, as you see it twisted around down there. Good sign, though, he did jog off the field.
Those sucks are tough.
Chris Canty comes into Stone, 3rd down and 4 from the 14 after the injury timeout. Warner under pressure, sacked at the 11. The Saints led the league in sacks this year with 66. That's an average of better than 1 per quarter, and that's Keith Mitchell.
Warner trying to find a receiver down the field. Good coverage that time. The Saints came with a 3-man rush, and when the back blocked, Mitchell came on the blitz, and he was rewarded with a sack.
Well, that Howard kid's a stud for a rookie.
John Baker, rookie from North Texas, pulled in by Morton from the 43-yard line. Reverses direction. They string him out. They will turn the corner. And he gets into Ram territory before he's forced out of bounds by the punter, Baker, at about the 40-yard line. 6:16 remaining in the half. A Ram is down, and the game is tied 7-7.
Remember the A-Team? Now there was an odd bunch of individuals.
Here's Dre Bly right here. This is Sammy Knight. Watch him zero in for the blindside shot. And Keith Poole, your debt has been paid by Sammy Knight.
Benson, sweet.
And Dre Bly, a key figure in a lot of their nickel packages, so he is out for the moment.
Literally.
Yes.
Yeah, that's loose change right now.
At the 40-yard line, Brooks on 1st down. Hanging in, but hanging in too long, and then spun down by Grant Wistrom.
You know, Grant Wistrom reminds me of one of the great defensive ends for the Rams, Fred Dreyer. Kind of on the tall and lean side, but with a non-stop motor and a sense for where the quarterback is.
11 sacks this year.
Even wears Dreyer's number. A little dyslexically, but still wears 98.
Oh, our mic'd up feature, which I know a lot of you enjoyed during the regular season. We're doing it in postseason as well, and Grant Wistrom is the man. I'm sure we'll hear what he had to say about that play as Terry Allen takes the inside handoff and brings it back to the 42-yard line.
And that's a pretty good play, because now it sets up a 3rd down and 10. And what you have now is a chance to get your field goal kicker, Doug Bryan, in range, so that you can pay off your special teams and Chad Morton for that fine punt return.
Home field advantage, not so in this case. As you see, the Saints 7-1 on the road, 3-5 here. Excluding the 72 strike season when they expanded the playoffs, put more teams in, it hasn't happened. 1982. 3rd down and 11 from the 41-yard line as Brooks rolls out and then gets sacked. That's a tremendous play by Leonard Little in a situation where Brooks could have thrown it away, and he was getting ready to, and Little is able to get it from behind.
And this is why Leonard Little is in the game as a defensive end, because of his speed. He runs down Aaron Brooks and makes the tackle. He's only 237 pounds or so, but he does run extremely well, and there he goes.
Well, between the interception down by the goal line and not getting rid of it once he got outside the tight end, Brooks, for the first time, even looks vaguely like a bit of a rookie.
9-yard sack. Toby Goen, the former Dallas Cowboy punt. Hakeem signals fair catch, lets it bounce, and the Saints try to down it in the field of play, but cannot. They cannot. It was Thomas down there who could not keep it in the field of play. Through his hands and into the end zone. 4:25 to the half. This NFC Wildcard playoff from New Orleans is being brought to you by Ford F-Series. The best-selling trucks are built Ford tough. MasterCard. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else is MasterCard. And by Dell. Beautiful day outdoors in New Orleans. Inside, joint is jumping. Alex Molden is back in the game, the cornerback for New Orleans, as the Rams take over at their own 20-yard line. 4:25 to the half. The game tied. They set up the screen. Caught underneath, but broken up beautifully. Falk makes the catch, and the other 28, Chris Oldham, is there to stop behind the line of scrimmage. Let's check in with Eric.
Well, Al, I asked Marshall Falk about did he think he'd run the ball as much as he did last week. I asked him about their game plan. Falk says each week that they go out, they do not have the scripted game plan that most NFL teams have. He'll say we're going to run 30 plays, we're going to pass 30 times. He says that what Marshall does is he goes into a game and see how it plays out. He says he doesn't care if he throws the ball 60 times. So lots of times when these guys go into a game, they'll have no idea what the plays they are going to run.
Thus far today, Eric Falk carried 8 times for 23 yards. That kept him in check. He's caught one pass for -1, and reaching out and not able to come up with the ball at the 32 is Ricky Prohl. It'll be 3rd down and long. Well, you've waited long enough, and now it's time for Blue to return. The whole gang back for a brand new year of NYPD Blue. It begins Tuesday, January 9th at 10 Eastern and Pacific, 9 Central. Right here on ABC. Viewer discretion is advised, it says in the card. That's what they say about our show, too, Denver.
Well, this year, both Dennis Franz and Ricky Schroeder have asked to be called Rick. Kind of interesting. I'll do whatever Denny wants. Rick Franz.
We've got New Orleans blue as the Rams are wearing their home jerseys because Jim Haslett doesn't like the fact that the Saints can't seem to win wearing their black ones.
The Rams have just taken a timeout preparatory to a 3rd and 11 with 3:41 to the half. 7-7. Third down and 11 at the 19-yard line after the Rams timeout. 3:41 to the half. Game tied 7-7. And the Rams have been great converting 3rd downs, especially 3rd and long.
Boy, and when you see the defensive backs look at each other after a guy catches the ball like this, you know there has to be a bust here. Zone principles, and with the speed of the Ram receivers on the inside here, again we're seeing Isaac Bruce cutting to the outside and just being all by himself.
In fact, Warner missed 4.5 games with a broken pinky, and now a timeout is taken again by St. Louis, their 2nd. So the Rams have been forced to burn 2 timeouts on this drive. This before a 1st down call.
I want to thank Marie Callender for that last graphic.
Alamode.
One thing they got to be talking about on the sidelines, and I'm sure that's going through Mike March's mind, is what's going through Kurt Warner's mind. And whenever you have a question about a quarterback's mental capabilities after he got a concussion or anything, you got to wonder if the plays came in a little bit scrambled, or if he wasn't able to get them to his teammates in the time enough to get up to the line of scrimmage and to make the proper shifting and flexing.
Here's what Warner said yesterday about his condition.
I feel good. The only problem that I've had this week is sensitivity to light. Anytime I've gone in a bright place, I've noticed it more than normal. But it hasn't affected any of my vision, any of my focus, no loss of memory, anything like that. Everything's been good. We practiced every day this week, threw the ball very well. So I don't foresee there being any problems.
He hits off there, and Kurt Warner right now is 9 of 14. There it is for 107 yards.
He's just having regular good games now, whereas we've been used to him having these games that you can't even fathom.
Teams are playing a lot more zone against the Rams. They do not want Warner to throw the bomb as well as he has earlier in the year.
2nd and 4 from the 47-yard line. Warner checks off, throws, picked off, intercepted by Sammy Knight. Inside the 40, the ball is batted out of his possession, but they will retain it. Torrey Holt batted the ball away, but it goes out of bounds, and the Saints retain possession.
I'm not so sure that ball wasn't hit at the line of scrimmage, because by the time it got to Sammy Knight, it was going end over end. There's the hot receiver, Prohl. That's who Warner wanted, and there is Knight stepping in front. But the question I have is whether the ball was hit before it came out of his hand. And you know what? It was. It was Darren Howard, number 93, who just got in there to deflect that pass, and Sammy Knight picked it off.
Torrey Holt made a great effort down there, but he's got to take a lesson from Bill Russell. You got to send that rebound or that block shot over to one of your own guys.
And so the Saints, after the turnover on 1st down, they start on the ground. They give the ball to Morton. He picks up just 1 to the 19-yard line.
It's about 4 or 5 times now that the Saints have run the ball straight up the middle, either with Chad Morton or Gerald Moore or Terry Allen on 1st down. Really not giving themselves a chance to have a more manageable 2nd down and 3rd down situation.
2-minute warning. The Saints threaten to take the lead at the 2-minute warning. The game tied 7-7. NFC Wildcard playoff from New Orleans.
We go out today and we beat them up just like we did last week.
In the half.
Everybody kick the of the man across from you. Let's go. All right. Dominate on 3. 1, 2, 3. Dominate.
Mic'd up at the half, coming up on the Toyota halftime show. And Chris Berman and Steve Young in the studio in New York. Lamar Smith running wild in Miami as the Dolphins beat Indianapolis. They'll face the Raiders next week. Overtime in Miami. And here it's 2nd and 9. The game is tied. Brooks to the end zone and throws it out of the end zone. Todd Light with the coverage that time on Chad Morton. 3rd down and 9. Well, Lamar Smith today, there it is, the 2nd most yardage gained in postseason history. Number 1, of course, our man, ED, 1985, Rams Cowboys at Texas Stadium. 248 yards.
And 40 carries today for Lamar Smith, and none bigger than the last one that gave the Dolphins a playoff victory in overtime.
And for Indy, Vanderjagt hasn't missed anything in 2 years, and he really missed it.
It is 3rd down and 10. And the Saints have taken a timeout. Aaron Brooks. Well, one thing about Brooks, young quarterback with a great offensive line. Here's what he had to say.
Sometimes they wonder what I'm doing back there or where I'm going. I guess they listening for that go call, and I just take off. But it hasn't been a problem yet, because at times when I'm back there, sitting in the pocket, delivering the ball, it makes them look good. And also, getting out of the pocket when nothing is there, and instead of taking a coverage sack, I can still get out and make some things happen.
And that's what he's going to have to remember. Last play, he had the opportunity to pull the ball down and take off and pick up 5 or 6 yards. Instead, he decided to throw the ball away out of the end zone. But his decision-making right now, he's not as sharp as he was to begin this ball game.
3rd down 9 from the shotgun. Line of scrimmage is the 19. He'll run it, but only for 4, so now they'll bring in the field goal group to attempt about a 33-yard field goal to give them the lead. Doug Bryan is their place kicker.
6'4", 205, 4'5", 40. I'm surprised they don't put more preset runs in for Brooks.
The 205 worries the coaches, Dennis. He is very slightly built.
I think he knows how to handle himself, though. I don't know. I'd probably at least set up 5 or 6 runs a game for him.
Yeah, that's why you're sitting up here with me, pal.
That's not why he's sitting up here with us.
Al, I'm still trying to figure out why he's sitting up here with us. I'm sorry, Dennis. Happy New Year, my friend.
I love being the foil. I'm having a tough day anyway. I was in line for that Virginia job, and that fell apart.
Aerial coverage provided by Southwest Airlines. In case you haven't heard, Al Groh resigns as the coach of the New York Jets. He's going to be the head coach at Virginia, replacing George Welsh. That's the big news of the day in the NFL. And, you know, when we were on the field before the game talking to some of the coaches on both staffs, they were stunned. This is a 33-yard attempt by Doug Bryan. Toby going to hold to give New Orleans the lead, and the Saints are out in front.
Nice course management by Jimmy Haslett in the first half. Never won a playoff game, playing a little close to the vest. Why not? At least keep the team interested for the second half.
After the Rams had marched down the field on their opening possession to take a 7-0 lead, the Saints, minus their starting quarterback, minus their top running back, Ricky Williams, and losing Joe Horn today, out in front.
And minus their tight end, beginning of the year, Cam Cleveland. Yeah, he goes down. So you got a tight end, wide receiver, running back, quarterback, and yet they refuse to give in to all that negativity.
Hey, as much as I like Jeff Blake, and he might throw the best deep ball in the business, I'm not sure he is the #1 quarterback anymore from the looks of this guy.
Well, the one thing Blake has is experience, and that's the only thing that Brooks lacks. Jeff Blake has a long, tough road coming back from a real nasty broken foot, but he is anxious. I saw him at practice the other day, and he would love nothing more than to be out on this field, but he's giving his support, Darren Brooks. He knows that for the Saints to get their first playoff win ever, it's going to take everybody.
See how this song, I always bring it up, and you never know what I'm talking about. This is Enter Sandman by Metallica, one of the greatest songs of all time.
Thank you, Casey Kasem. Toby going to kick. Fielded at the 4-yard line by Tony Horn, and then he drops it out of bounds. And the Rams, who are without a timeout, they took their last timeout before Bryan kicked the field goal to save some time on the clock, find themselves pinned.
The Rams really thought by having Tony Horn back this week, bringing back kickoffs, there would be a tremendous advantage to him. Best thing he did there that time was escort this ball out of bounds before the Saints could get down and recover.
Hypothetically, if I return kickoffs for a living, that's how I would do it.
So at the 10 now, Larry Pasquale, the special teams coach. First year, Larry around for a number of years, most recently with the Jaguars. First down at the 10-yard line for the Rams without a timeout. And they give it to Falk, and Marshall gets banged back after a gain of 3. Let's go down to Eric.
Well, what I did, I asked some of the offensive players how do they feel about the Rams defense. You know, they've had a lot of games they've been in, and the Rams defense have let them down. And surprisingly, the guy said, you know, a lot of that is our fault. We score too fast sometimes. We put out defenses and sometimes in uncompromising positions. And I was very shocked. They said, you know, as a football team, what we do, we just stick together.
Yeah, you know, you don't want to hang your defense up by going over 5,000 yards in a season. Huh?
2nd and 7. The Rams are going to be content to run out the clock. If the Saints stop them for no gain here, they may take a timeout. They have 2 left. This is Falk, and they stop him for a loss. And now let's see if New Orleans takes a timeout on 3rd and long. And they do, so the Saints take a timeout.
The one thing the Rams know is that they give the ball to number 28, he's not going to fumble. Hasn't fumbled all year long. And you can see as Darren Howard goes in there, the Saints are looking for the ball. But watch how closely Falk holds it to his body. Never swings it out away from his body. Therefore, he's less susceptible to fumbling.
Check in with Melissa.
Well, Al, they have reevaluated limited cornerback Alex Molden. Originally they said that it was a stinger. Now they're saying it is a mild concussion. They're going to hold him out for now and see if he can play in the second half.
Interesting, because he'd been hurt, then he came back in. Now they've taken him out.
Boy, Jimmy Haslett and his staff made some great adaptations during the week on Falk, didn't they, Al? Unbelievable.
Absolutely. Well, Haslett, I mean, it's either Haslett or Andy Reid are the guys who are just going to pull off miracles this year. Reid in Philadelphia.
Yeah, Fisher's a stud too, though, man.
Yes. Well, the problem is the coach of the year, it's always who made the most out of the least. 3rd down and 10. And that's thrown out of bounds. And so with 31 seconds left, the Rams are forced to punt. The thing about Haslett, he was one of 4 guys interviewed by Randy Mueller. Mueller got the job. He interviewed Dom Capers. He interviewed Gary Kubiak, the offensive coordinator at Denver. And he interviewed Art Shell twice. And then Haslett, the 4th guy.
Well, can't quibble with this choice. Although you look at Art Shell's record during the regular season, I was surprised, man. He had a really great record.
Took the Raiders to the AFC Championship game during that run in L.A. Baker's kick. A flag is down in the end zone. It is Morton who will run it back, and Baker was run into. The question is the 5-yard or 15-yard variety by Fred McAfee. It appears to be the 5-yard variety, the Garden variety. It was 4th and 10, so he'll have to kick again.
Watch Baker keep his leg out there, too. He kept his leg out there long enough for McAfee to run into it.
That should be about a 3-yard penalty.
That should be a 2-year contract with the Rockettes, keeping it up that long.
What the Saints lose, though, is 11 seconds.
Still have 1 timeout to work with. But with Joe Horn out, I would expect that the Saints would be looking for Jake Reed a little bit.
The Rams are going to decline the penalty because why punt again and run the risk of an errant snap or a block kick? So the Rams are basically saying, forget it, forget the penalty. If you can go 20 seconds and get yourself in field goal range, more power to you.
And John Baker had 1 punt blocked earlier this year against Kansas City.
So the penalty is declined. The Saints need about 20 yards or so to get in Bryant's field goal range. The ball is at the 48. Brooks. And throws that one into the bench area. Intended for Willie Jackson, covered by Dexter McGlean, and that took 4 seconds.
Well, that was a pretty smart pass, because if you're not outside the tight ends, you have to at least sell that pass that you're throwing away by getting it reasonably close to your receiver, or they're going to flag you.
Yeah, he did a good job with that. Talked about Bryant's range. His career long is 56. He's had 2 field goals blocked this year. Both of them were long ones, one a 51 and one a 52-yarder. So that's what's going through Haslett's mind right now. When do I let this man go for it?
Get it into the barn, Jimmy. A nice first pass.
2nd and 10. It's caught. It's over the middle. Trying to get into field goal range is Jake Reed, and he's able to get out of bounds with 8 ticks left. The line of scrimmage will be the 41, so you're still talking about a 58-yard field goal attempt.
The Saints are fortunate to have Jake Reed back from his broken leg. He's a veteran. He's been in playoff games probably as much as anybody on this outfit when he was with the Vikings. They have time now with that 1 timeout to get at least 5 yards down the field, maybe 10. Try to hit the tight end, perhaps, over the middle. Call timeout. Bring on the field goal team.
Line of scrimmage is the 40. Brooks throwing to the outside, and that's incomplete. And now they're down to 5 seconds. So it's probably the end zone or nothing.
Yeah, because of his 2 kicks over 50, or he's had 2 over 50 blocks. I don't think you...
Well, that's kind of normal because they have to drive the ball. They have to hit it a little bit lower. No wind, obviously, here in the Superdome, so that's a real benefit to any kicker. Decision now, do you go for the end zone? I think that's what they're going to do.
Of course, a 57-yard field goal in New Orleans is child's play for these people. They've seen longer.
Mr. Dempsey outside. New Orleans is going... Well, they're going to take their final time out here. And why not? I mean, you might as well bring your quarterback over and call a play, even if you save it, Dan. I mean, the chances of you being able to complete a pass and calling timeout within 5 seconds.
Yeah, no, you've got to go for the end zone here. Kid's got a big arm. You got Jake Reed, who's 6'3". You got Willie Jackson, 6'1". They can get up in the air. And crazier things have happened this year, haven't they?
Most of them on Monday night. Citrus Bowl, Rose Bowl, the whole thing happening coming up. Big bowl day, New Year's Day, right here on ABC. Michigan against Auburn gets it started. Rose and Fiesta Bowl to follow.
I'm feeling Willie Rowe tackle eligible right now. Just got a feeling.
Barring a defensive foul, this will be the final play of the half. They throw it into the end zone, and nothing but Rams there.
Bad feeling on the Willie Rowe thing.
You'll get over it.
Into the half, and the New Orleans Saints, champions of the NFC West, down 7-0 early, now lead 10-7. Toyota halftime show coming up when we return after this message from the National Football League and a word from our ABC stations.
4 out of 5 in a touchdown pass, but since he just doesn't look like his normal self, I've really got to believe that he's still feeling the effects of that concussion he suffered just 6 days ago here in the Superdome.
You know, the concussion he got last week wasn't even on a very big hit, Dan, so maybe the one sack he did shook him up again.
He might have suffered that concussion underneath Warren Sapp the week before.
Yeah.
At the 7-yard line. This is Tony Horn returning it to the 30-yard line. Ram offense, just to reset it right now, with Kurt Warner at quarterback, and then you've got Falk. Holcomb has played very sparingly here. Holt and Bruce outside, and Williams the tight end, and then the men in the trenches. Pace will be going to the Pro Bowl. He's the key guy. Newton, McCollum, Timmerman, and Tucker. And it was Ryan Tucker's, the penalty on Tucker, that negated the 51-yard Marshall Falk run in the first half. Fred Thomas replaces Alex Molden at cornerback for New Orleans. From the 30-yard line on first down, it is tipped and incomplete. Tipped by Darren Smith, the linebacker.
We talked about Kurt Warner's good start. Now he tailed off. Aaron Brooks also was more effective in the first quarter, but both quarterbacks throwing pretty even there in the passing yards. 2 sacks of Brooks just one time for Kurt Warner going down. The amazing thing in this game is that the score. You know, the Rams only have 7 points, and the Saints hanging in there with the 3-point lead.
And the Rams 7 came on that opening drive. 2nd and 10 from the 30. Falk, absolutely nothing. It's a 4-yard loss at the 26. It'll be 3rd and 14. Smith and Hand converge to the hit.
Now, one thing about this game, it started out the teams were doing a lot of trash talking like they did 6 days ago. A lot of posturing, a lot of in-your-face football, but it had settled down a little bit towards that second quarter when the importance of this game was realized by both teams. The Saints have no penalties so far. The Rams have committed 5, and 3 of them really cost them.
But by the end there, it looked like Valentine's Day.
I know. Deacon Jones would have laughed at that head slap.
3rd and 14. The play clock all the way down, and no play. Delay a game.
That's what I mean about Warner. There's no way that he can't get the play off on time. There's a clock here.
Play of game, offense, 5 yards.
He just appears to be a little bit slow.
Let's check in with Melissa.
Spoke to Jim Haslett at the half. He said, we've got to establish the run to take pressure off of Aaron Brooks. We've got to get our receivers open. Definitely feeling the absence of Joe Horn. Defensively, he said, I like what we're doing. We're stopping the run. We're getting after the quarterback. We're going to continue that. Now, an update on Alex Molden. He is out for the game with that mild concussion.
What's the earliest possible moment Trent Green becomes a viable contingency, Dan?
I think that if this series, I'm sure that he's telling March he's okay. So I think March is going to go for it with him as long as he possibly can.
3rd and 19, and that is caught at the 41-yard line, and forward progress will net a first down. Rick Ricky Prohl makes the catch. Needed 19, got 20.
That's it. That's the veteran in Ricky Prohl in his 11th year now out of Wake Forest. You tell a guy like Prohl what you need, he's going to go get it. He's not going to get much after the catch, but you don't need to get much after the catch if the catch gets you the first down.
Earlier in the game, the Rams converted 3rd and 11 and 3rd and 15, and they convert on 3rd and 19 here. And this is Falk. And that's really nothing new because the Rams during the regular season on 3rd and 10 and more converted 31% of the time, highest percentage in the league. And it would figure with that offense. Here's Eric.
Well, I talked to Marsh before, but after the halftime, and he said one thing that they have to do, and that is try to control the ball. They want to try to run the ball a little bit more, which is surprising by the Rams. They love to run the football. And he said that the last time that they had the ball, and when they got that penalty, they called Marshall Faulk's run back. He said that really took a lot of wind out of this football team. He said they want to try to play better football, throw the football more, just try to take control of this game.
Boy, I'll bet it did. He saw 51 yards go down the drain. 12 carries for 22 right now. Warner throws off his back foot, tip, intercepted by Oldham. And Oldham, who is there to shadow Marshall Faulk, as the spy on Faulk, covering Marshall, gets the pick. The former Steeler brought over because Haslett knew him so well.
And the reason Warner had to throw that ball off his back foot is because he had Darren Howard around his ankle. Actually, Joe Johnson, 94, was down there. And there's the pick by the University of Oregon Ducks, Chris Oldham, who's playing a lot of middle linebacker in this 7 and 6 defensive back scheme of Jim Haslett and Ron Zook. Warner with pressure there, trying to squeeze the ball into Isaac Bruce, and the Saints were all over it. Right at the bottom of there's Joe Johnson being laid on. He knocked Warner down, and the Saints get their second pick.
Warner's like usually the absolute last human on the planet to feel pressure.
Oldham playing in his 8th postseason game. That's his first interception. First and 10 to the 45-yard line. They start on the ground. They give it to Terry Allen, who picks up 4 to the 41-yard line. Neither team with anything to speak of on the ground. Allen now 9 carries, 17 yards.
Well, Jimmy Haslett's got to love this. This is playing right into his wheelhouse. He's got obviously the dearth of weaponry, and he's got the lead right now. He's keeping the ball. Warner doesn't look himself. I'd say he's a happy camper right now.
Second down and 6 from the 41. 11 and a half to go in the third. Brooks throws. Jackson makes the catch. Seeks the first down. Let's see where they'll spot it. Close to the marker at the 35-yard line.
Aaron Brooks now 7 out of 15. That first half, he took control of the ball game early for the Saints, using his head there as well as his legs. This escapability is what sets him apart. Rushed twice, rather 3 times for 17 yards. And this beautiful touchdown pass to Robert Wilson.
That last play, that's a first down at the 35-yard line. First and 10, Gerald Moore is in the game as the running back. That's Moore in motion. They give it to Moore. Now they take it to Moore. Brooks with great sleight of hand, and then he runs out of bounds after an 8-yard pickup.
Al, as you tick off these names, it becomes more apparent what an amazing job the GM and coach have done down here. You're talking about Gerald Moore, and I don't disparage any of these people, but I mean, obviously they're not really known. Willie Jackson, Gerald Moore, Aaron Brooks, unbelievable job.
Aaron Brooks reminds me a lot of Randall Cunningham. They have about the same type of body and the speed and elusiveness to get outside.
Second and 1 at the 26-yard line. Ball loose at the 24-yard line, and no signal yet, except to stop the clock by Jerry Austin. And at the bottom of the pile.
Ooh, that's ugly in there right now.
Trying to get Kyle Turley out of there. He'll go in with anybody. He's going back in for a second helping.
Turley last week recovered 3 fumbles, and the Saints have it. So Allen loses the football, but the Saints retain it.
I love it when the refs jump on top of the scrum. It's like when Cobain used to stage dive.
There's Allen. I think he recovered it himself. He's at the bottom there.
Looks like the handoff was never made cleanly. Whether you blame the quarterback or the running back, really doesn't matter. The big thing is that the Saints retain possession, digging and scratching at the bottom of that scrum.
For what it's worth, the quarterback is charged with that fumble. When the handoff is not completed, as was the case there, it's charged to Brooks. At the 24-yard line, first down, and the Saints are going to have to spend a timeout 5 minutes into the second half, to the consternation of one Jim Haslett.
See that eye? Yeah. That little motherfucker right.
Well, aloha.
Huh?
Aloha nui aloha.
Well, the ambient sound was interesting.
Yes, it is.
And that wasn't me.
It wasn't Dennis either. Fait du Monde, open 24 hours a day, home of the beignet.
In American, that's Cafe The Monde.
Well, I don't think they serve that at Canyon Ranch.
Hey, can we replay that sound bite from before the commercial? I'm not sure what the man was talking about.
I don't think that was Melissa. The ball at the 24-yard line. Here's Brooks over the middle. It is caught by Willie Jackson. And Jackson seeking the first down, close to it.
Willie Jackson having himself a game.
And it's his running ability after the catch that's so impressive. Watch him step away from Todd Collins here, 54. Breaks that tackle, looking for the down marker, and gets it.
Yeah, pretty fearless, too, across the middle, Dan. He was right in the DMZ there.
That's a heck of a move there, and then jumping and getting that first down.
Or as they call it in New Orleans, the neutral ground. Not the median here on the freeway. It's the neutral ground. Ball to the 13-yard line. This is Terry Allen to the 10.
Looks like the Saints are trying to set up some type of bootleg with Aaron Brooks. They keep on first down giving the ball to Allen or Chad Morton or Gerald Moore up the middle. I wouldn't be surprised at some point that they don't fake that. We saw it earlier in this second half with Brooks getting to the outside.
3 trips to the red zone today for New Orleans. 1 touchdown, 1 field goal, 1 turnover. Second and 7 at the 10. Morton is the man in motion. Brooks to the end zone. Caught. Touchdown. Willie Jackson.
Not only did Brooks pierce the St. Louis Rams' heart with that throw, he also pierced Willie Jackson. Couldn't have dropped that one. He stuck it right in his clavicle.
Are going after Todd, or rather the Saints are going after the Rams' Todd Light. Twice now they found receivers the Light had tight coverage on, but just a perfect throw has resulted in a touchdown.
Ryan for the point after. Kurt Warner is intercepted. Then the Saints go down the field. Jackson makes it pay off. Saints by 10.
Losing big time.
Our esteemed colleague and your former partner, Dan Brent Musburger, here enjoying the game with his wife, Arlene. They'll be working the Sugar Bowl.
Making sure he's got the good beverage there. Watch this slant route and watch this fastball. Right between the 8s. Todd Light can do nothing to stop Willie Jackson from scoring.
Brett with the shirt, sweater, and winter coat for the indoor game.
Here is the kickoff. Bowen sends it down to the 12-yard line. Tony Horn. Only to the 22. Aaron Brooks, who's been a starter for a month and a half. 17-7. ABC's presentation of this NFC Wildcard game for New Orleans brought to you by Budweiser, with a crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. Phillips, technology that's making life a little better all the time. Dodge and nearly 3,000 dealers invite you to come see what's different. And Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of the Super Bowl.
The Olympics here next year.
from the 22-yard line. Falk going nowhere. That's been the case all day apart from the run that was called back on the penalty. Fields makes the stop. Marshall, 13 carries, 23 yards.
They have really been able to hold Marshall Falk in check. You talked, Al, about that 51-yarder I called. He called me Dan, too. That would work. But this is a good tackling football team. They are not going to be embarrassed 6 days apart by this man.
Good work, Harvey. Flag down. Jerry Austin, the referee.
Ball start, 76.
Orlando Pace.
5 yards, still second down.
Kurt Warner's got to be wondering what happened after that first drive of the game when he went down the field and got the Rams a touchdown pass to Isaac Bruce from 17 yards out. That's the only sack of the game on Warner, but he has been under pressure, and he has uncharacteristically thrown a couple of interceptions. Sammy Knight picks that one off, and then under the pressure of Joe Johnston, Chris Oldham picks that one off to set up the last touchdown for the Saints.
2nd and 14 now from the 18-yard line. Warner rolling, hit as he throws, wobbly duck, caught by Torrey Holt, and Holt out to the 38-yard line.
Boy, a lot of balls coming out of Warner's hand with some twist on him between balls getting batted and his arm getting hit, but he's completed a couple of them.
And look at how aware Torrey Holt is. Kevin Mathis grabbed his face mask there, got away with it. That ball was coming out end over end because Warner was under pressure once again. The play-action fake doesn't hold anybody because the Rams aren't running the ball worth a darn.
Beautiful.
Keith Mitchell from the back, Leroy Glover from the front.
Sorry, Denny. Beautiful hands by Holt, too. Those are receiver hands there. Picked it.
From the 38-yard line, Warner over the middle, but not looking was Holt. Holt had gotten free.
Wow.
And didn't turn around.
You're going to get that free. You got to be looking.
Well, guys, it's pretty stunning to see the Rams at this point, especially the way they started out. That first drive, brilliantly conceived, perfectly executed, but that's been it.
You got to give the Saints credit. They talked about being mad and embarrassed by the way they played last week against the Rams. And the whole feeling I got from Haslett, he's a no-nonsense guy. His team is playing football the way he used to play.
Well, Jimmy Haslett doing a heck of a job from Indiana University of Pennsylvania. Jimmy Stewart's hometown. So far today, it is a wonderful life.
To this point, he leads by 10 as they try to win that trip to Minnesota. Falk to the 39-yard line. It'll be 3rd and long.
Big Norman Hand getting in there and getting a chance to boogie-woogie a little bit after the tackle.
Well, the Rams, and of course, going back to their lineage, Cleveland, and then all of the years in Los Angeles, 0-18 in postseason when trailing by 7 or more points.
Here's big number 99, Norman Hand, always fighting off a double team. Marshall Faulk's going to come right back to him, and when you're 320 or so, Marshall's not going to go very far.
3rd down and 9. Warner throwing and nobody's home. 1 Ram, 3 Saints.
The Saints have got this man out of his rhythm, out of sync, and they're playing disciplined football, no penalties, although Warner and March were looking for one there.
Well, I know March is a loyalist, but if I'm him, I got Trent Green up in the pen. You just have to. You got to throw it all out there.
John Baker with a wobbly line drive end over end, set up for a run back. A kick like that, but Morton is covered by the Rams special teams unit and stopped in his tracks. 5:45 left in the 3rd. The Saints looking for their first playoff win in their 34-year history. Up by 10. Back we come to the Superdome, New Year's Day on ABC. The Rose Bowl presented by AT&T from Pasadena. Chief Jackson and the gang will be on hand as Washington takes on Purdue.
That's not how you are is spelled. I'm telling you, you can laugh at me.
In some school districts it is. At the 25-yard line on first down, this is Terry Allen going nowhere.
Pretty unusual that we would have two receivers with identical statistics this deep into the game, but there you are. Isaac Bruce and Willie Jackson. Jackson matching Bruce perfectly. London Fletcher, number 59, skating behind that defensive line, coming up and making sure Terry Allen doesn't get very far. But the one thing the Saints have done is they've run the ball almost every first down. They've got to start changing that up a little bit.
Second down and 10 from the 25-yard line. Brooks. And that's incomplete. As looking around for a flag, but finding none, was Willie Jackson, the intended receiver. The last time the Saints were in a postseason game, they were leading Philadelphia 20-7 with 17 minutes left in the game. That was in January of '93 at the end of the '92 season. And again, they have not won a playoff game. The year before, they hung in there with the Falcons, and then Atlanta beat them at the end. Before that, the Bears beat them in '90, and the Vikings beat them in '87.
And they can't sit on this 10-point lead with all this time left.
Third down and 10. Brooks throws and making the catch. Jake Reed grabbing it away from the defender and moving the chains. A big conversion.
That is a big conversion for a young quarterback. Aaron Brooks was being blitzed on the inside. Watch him fire this ball to Jake Reed. Dre Bly was in perfect position, but the big body of Reed shielded the ball away from little Dre Bly. And again, Aaron Brooks with a laser shot. Watch him set that back foot and let it rip.
Brooks, Dre Bly.
Aaron Brooks, 10 of 19 for 148 yards, first and 10, up at the 37-yard line. Nice defensive play as Grant Wistrom upends Terry Allen, undercuts him.
Hey, if I'm Hazlitt, I'm thinking we got our points, boys. Let's just take as much off the clock as we can.
Wait a minute. This is the St. Louis Rams. They've still are, you know, they're capable of putting up 4 touchdowns here.
Well, I don't know. They look a little shaky today, Dano. I'm just saying. I think the Saints have to play it close to the vest.
I hate seeing all these runs on first down because they're setting up a lot of second and 10s.
Second and 10 here at the 37-yard line. Rams show blitz. Here they come, and that's knocked down. That's Mike Jones, the Super Bowl hero, knocking it down. It was Jones, of course, who made that tackle on Kevin Dyson at the 1-yard line at the end of the game in Atlanta last January.
That was real close to being a backward pass, too. Take a look at that Super Bowl tackle, Al. This was a heck of a way to end the greatest Super Bowl ever. And I think the Titans have used this one more yard theme very effectively this year as they finished with the best record in the NFL at 13-3. There's that play, clearly a forward pass, knocked down by Mike Jones.
Tyson underwent arm extension operation in the offseason, too. That's how committed they are this year.
Third and 10. That's why he's on IR. Here's Brooks. But caught underneath, and then starting to stumble was Reed, so he couldn't regain his footing and stopped well shy of the first down, and New Orleans will kick. 3:13 and counting down. Aerial footage, coverage provided by Southwest Airlines. There it is, the Superdome, constructed in the early 70s, opened in 1975, and brand new indoor arena built next door.
What was the big circular building next to the...
Yes. Here's the kick, and it is out of bounds, and they will mark it somewhere around the 30-yard line. Closer to the 22. That's where it goes out. From the 22 will the Rams begin their next march, down by 10. At the 22-yard line, Warner on first down throws, caught. Bruce comes out of the pack, takes it up to the 35 on a first down, tackled by Keith Mitchell.
And if the Rams are going to get back into this game, this is how they're going to have to do it. They're going to have to get back and set quickly. Don't let this pressure get to them. That's a four-step drop, basically, finding Bruce in the zone and then letting the talented receivers pick up yardage.
13-yard gain. Rams first and 10 at the 35. 2:15 left in the third. And the Rams have to take a timeout.
Well, you never see them this discombobulated.
And now they had 13 seconds on the play clock.
Right.
Half the amount of time that you normally have. It's unbelievable.
There it is today, 187 to this point. I mean, yeah, there's no beating around the bush. We can't play doctor up here, but Warner he hasn't looked right. There's no doubt.
No, and that is the effect of concussion, whether it's a mild one or whatever. But you look at a guy's eyes, and you can kind of tell he just seems a little lethargic, and his decision-making just a little bit off. The precision of this offense, and I think you got to give a lot of credit to the Saints. This defense is tackling a lot better than they did 6 days ago. Marshall Faulk has 24 yards rushing. He had 220 last Sunday. Ron Zook, defense coordinator, doing a heck of a job.
So first and 10 from the 35-yard line. Warner fires over the middle, and is it caught is the question? No, it is incomplete. Torrey Holt never had possession, simply an incompletion.
Again, let's talk a little bit about this defense. Darren Smith that time with a great drop, but they've held Marshall Faulk down, and they've harassed the quarterback. Last year's MVP, this year's MVP. Warner's been picked off twice, that one by Sammy Knight, this one by Chris Oldham. And the Saints changing their defensive packages, matching up, is working.
On second and 10, a little flip underneath that's caught by Roland Williams, who had two big third down catches on their first drive of the game. Setting up a third down and about 4.
You can tell Roland wants to make back that holding penalty.
This was all in one game. This is what the Saints normally do on the bottom here per year, but last week they just weren't as focused as they are now. They thought Detroit was going to win and that they were going to get a bye. Well, thanks to Paul Edinger, things changed.
Third down and 4. Warner for Bruce. He can't one-hand it. Had to reach up at the 25-yard line. Kevin Mathis came in on the corner blitz and hits Warner as he gets rid of it. Here's Melissa.
Al Damas was talking about it, but you bet this Saints defense is fired up. Remember, Jim Haslett was the Steelers defensive coordinator for the last 3 years before coming here. He just went over during the last series to every single defensive player on the bench, pat him on the back, and said, this is our game to win. It's being made very clear to these defensive players that because the Saints have the lead, this game is going to be won by the defense.
Maybe it's the white jerseys. They're wearing their road white today because they were 3 and 5 at home, 7 and 1 at a hotels. Fair catch called for at the 26-yard line by Chad Morton. 1:17 remaining in the third here in New Orleans with the Saints on top 17-7.
Ball was almost caught acrobatically by Isaac Bruce, but how about that job of running along with the wide receiver down the middle by Darren Smith? That forces the high throw and the near impossible catch by Bruce.
And very nearly another interception off a deflection there.
Rams took the early lead, but the Saints have scored 17 unanswered points. To lead by 10. Third quarter winds down. They have the ball at their own 26-yard line. Allen. Terry Allen, who was out of football until the end of November when Randy Mueller needed a running back. And one of the reasons he went for a guy like Allen was because Allen has a lot of experience. He's been around. He's been a 1,000-yard guy. He's been in the playoffs with Minnesota and Washington.
Where was he 5 weeks ago, Al?
In Atlanta at home, waiting for a call, kept himself in pretty good shape, but he didn't want to go to anybody's camp because the teams that invited him to training camp this summer he felt were not playoff contenders.
He's only 32, but those knees are a little older than that, huh?
Well, actually, they're both brand new, so they're younger.
Second and 10 from the 26-yard line. Brooks. Caught, 47 yards. Wilson. So out of nowhere comes Robert Wilson, a guy who had not scored a touchdown in 2 years in the league. Gets one today. Big 21-yard pickup here.
Oh, and these Saints are believing. A deep route turns McLean all the way around, and then again it's a line drive fastball from Aaron Brooks for the first down.
Yeah, when this kid's in his rhythm and unobstructed, he throws Steve Dalkowski heat.
That is the end of the third quarter. The Saints trying to win their first postseason game ever. Lead the world champions 17-7. Back we come to New Orleans after this message from our ABC station.
You know what a freaky town this is? Even this guy's getting chicks.
How would you know?
Huh?
Even without electrolysis. We start the fourth quarter. 1st and 10. Saints from the 47-yard line as Brooks to throw under pressure and then flings it out here to Allen, who gets by Jones, and then Light makes the tackle at the 48-yard line, turning no gain or a small loss into a pickup of about 6.
The biggest difference in this game right now is the offensive line of the Saints is giving their quarterback time to throw. Neither team running the ball very well, and the Saints hanging in there as far as the passing yards are concerned. But Aaron Brooks right now is being afforded time to throw. That gives him confidence. That time he went to his outlet receiver, Allen, as the pressure was breaking in on him.
Your outlet man's usually not that close to the sidelines. You can tell the kid trusts his arms. He gunned it.
2nd down 4 from the 47-yard line. Allen stopped in the backfield. We've been talking about Randy Mueller today, the architect. They brought Mueller in to run the team here in New Orleans. Tom Benson did. He wanted to revamp the whole operation. Randy had been in Seattle for a number of years, and he kind of worked behind the scenes. He'd done a real nice job with the Seahawks, but when Mike Holmgren came to Seattle, Mike had to have so much control that it made Mueller available, and they looked around, and Benson did, as it turns out, a pretty brilliant thing at this point. Mueller comes in, he brings Hazlitt in, and this team is less than 15 minutes away from its first playoff win after a 3-13 season. 3rd and 6 from the 49-yard line. Brooks. And it is caught! It is caught by Willie Jackson, and he's going to dance his way
taunting
into the end zone. Slow dance.
A slow dance and a slow death for the defending champions. That one is a real killer. But it's like so many plays today where the Saints were just right on the mark. The Rams just a little bit off. Dexter McLean was all over Jackson. Couldn't make a play on the ball, fell down, and Jackson could dance his way into the end zone.
Now St. Louis really is up the river.
Without a paddle or a...
They still got a paddle, but I don't know.
Bryant. The conversion. And the New Orleans Saints with Brooks and Allen and Horn Hurt lead the world champions by 17. Pretty amazing. 13-22. Crowd doing the YMCA bit here as they are 13-22 along with the Saints away from their first advancement ever in postseason play. If they win, they go to Minnesota next Saturday. 24-7 New Orleans. It's a bouncing ball. It's fielded at the 1-yard line. It's Tony Horn. Cannot get out of his tracks. Stops at the 13. Freddie McAfee and Rob Kelly are there.
Here's Jackson working against Dexter McLean. Look at how perfectly the ball is thrown as McLean is hanging on Jackson's shoulder. This 49-yarder goes with his 10-yarder earlier in the game, and just as everybody else on the team seems to step up for an injured player, Willie Jackson takes over for Joe Horn, who was hurt on the first series of plays today, and Jackson becomes the go-to guy.
We've seen Brooks' whole repertoire today. The laser, the EFIS. Kid's got all the tools.
The Rams now, they start with a little shovel to Marshall Faulk, who takes it up to the 22-yard line.
You talk about them winning and maybe going to Minnesota next week, Al. There's a slight chance they might have Ricky Williams back for that game.
Ricky played a little bit in practice this week. He worked with the scout team a little bit.
Well, Marshall Faulk is going to have to do some magic now. 11 touchdowns in the last 3 games, has been held in check completely by the Saints today.
Second and a short 3. This is caught by Faulk. And Marshall is out of bounds. They'll move the chains up to the 28-yard line.
And they really got to start thinking about going to a no-huddle offense. Very difficult to do on the road in a loud venue such as the Superdome. But clock running, 12 and a half to go. They're down by 17. Rams got to start thinking about it.
Yeah, but when you're calling a timeout with 13 seconds to go on the play clock to go over to the sidelines, maybe it might not be the day for the no-huddle. Maybe Warner is
There is no tomorrow, I think somebody said, in a movie called The Water Boy. No time to hold anything back.
And you got scale to say it, didn't you?
Absolutely.
From the 28-yard line. Warner, sacked, buried at the 17. Willie Whitehead. And he fumbles, and New Orleans has it.
Get out the blow dryer.
Leroy Glover winds up with it. Whitehead with a sack. Warner loses the ball. Glover comes up with it. And the Saints are in business again.
Here's Whitehead. Here's Glover. Whitehead working against Orlando Pace. Coverage sack, though. Punches the ball out with his right hand, and Glover's there for the recovery. Just the second sack of the day for the Saints. But there's just no place for Warner to put this ball.
Right, not even worth a challenge. I was thinking just for a second you might as well challenge it if it's even close. No doubt.
Nope.
He just locked his arms to his body. No way Warner could hold on.
12-yard sack, fumble recovery, and Brooks takes over at the 16-yard line. And they empty the backfield. Still on what lead? To the end zone. Touchdown, Willie Jackson.
Wow. This is unbelievable. They keep playing like this, the fans are going to be wearing Louis Vuitton bags on their heads.
And twice after turnovers, the very next play, Jim Haslett's Saints strike for the score. How about this for your first playoff game for Aaron Brooks? 4 touchdown passes.
Personal foul, clean hit, 41 under defense. After the score, the touchdown count, the penalty will be done on the kickoff.
That's Todd White for the personal foul. So Willie Jackson, a free agent pickup from Cincinnati. He had 200-yard games in his career with the Jaguars in the mid-90s. The last 2 years in Cincinnati, comes here, and today Willie Jackson, 142 yards, 6 receptions. Joe Horn goes down. Robert Wilson scores an early touchdown. Jackson now has 3, and the Saints lead it 31-7.
One play after the turnover, Aaron Brooks looking for Willie Jackson, finds him on the 16-yarder. In fact, he has found him the last 3 receptions for Jackson have all been touchdowns.
Willie Jackson tying a record held by 11 others for the most touchdown receptions in a postseason game, 3. The last time it was done, Jerry Rice in the San Francisco-San Diego Super Bowl.
Field goal.
Yeah, well, after the personal foul, that kick, of course, is from the 45-yard line. And the Rams will take possession at their own 20. In dire straits are the world champions, down by 24. This Wildcard playoff game from New Orleans is being brought to you by Ford F-Series. The best-selling trucks are built Ford tough. Frost-brewed Coors Light tapped the Rockies. Nextel, how business gets done, and Viagra. Ask your doctor, Dennis, if Viagra is right for you.
Not going there now. Not going there. I almost made it through the whole season. You think I'm going to ruin it now? What is Dick Clark, like 700?
31-7. This is why we brought you here.
Yeah, well, don't pay me a Viagra this late in the game.
20-yard line
to get the drop back.
This is Marshall Faulk, and he gets wrapped up at the 40-yard line. That's a gain of 20.
You know what's amazing, Al, is it has been a long season.
Got a little fight here, too.
A little fracas down here in the preseason. Oh, we got a replay here.
This is one of their better screen passes, but this is where it gets a little chippy. Adam Timmerman there diving onto the pile.
I stopped down here in the preseason in between games. I had done like 1 or 2 games. I went for a walk. The guy at the front door of the Superdome saw me, said, "Hey, you want to come in?" And, he recognized me. I stood on the 50-yard line, just marveled at the Superdome. There's the fracas. And I remember the guy saying to me, "Too bad you won't get down here this year. We don't have a very good team."
And he was right at that point. You would have thought 1st and 10, and that is caught. This is Faulk, and Faulk is going to try to keep the Rams alive as he takes it down to the 25-yard line.
Aside from the fumble that when Warner got hit, the Rams have gotten the ball to Marshall Faulk 4 straight times, and that's pretty good thinking. This is the guy that's going to get you back in the ball game if you have enough time. I'm not so sure, though, with 10.5 minutes they do.
Faulk looked like Willie Jackson on that play.
Yeah. Willie Jackson has caught 6 for 142 yards today. Faulk, nothing on the ground. 24 yards, 14 carries, 74 yards in receptions. That's his 6th catch. Warner to the outside. That is caught by Ricky Prohl, who's going to turn it back inside, and he stopped at the 16-yard line.
On the tackle, gain of 9.
Not been a great day for Kurt Warner. And this is the puzzling thing. This is after the injury. Teams have played the Rams differently. They play with a lot more deep zone and have forced the Rams to try to complete passes over the middle and take little shots down the field. It's a smart move by Prohl. No sense going out of bounds. The clock is going to keep rolling anyway.
2nd down and 2 from the 17-yard line. Warner throws. That's caught by Prohl. And they haven't looked like it today, but if any team is going to overcome this large a deficit this late in the game, it would be the St. Louis Rams. And just like that, they're down the field, and after the extra point, they'll shave it to 17.
Well, they're going to try and shave it to 16 now because they're going to keep the offense on the field and go for 2.
Well, you would hope Haslett wouldn't play soft here now towards the end, just trying to, you got to keep that attacking defense going. Maybe that's why they went down the field so quickly.
Going for 2 because that way you're within 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point conversions. Trying to shave it to 16. Warner lining up at the 2-yard line. This is Faulk. Can he get in? No. Stopped short, so it's 18 points. No! Now they say on a late call, one official comes in and said he got to the goal line. There's another guy shaking his head who's saying no, he didn't. So that's the head linesman saying no. You can tell by the body language, no, sir. After I believe it was the side judge who came in and said he got in?
Yep, that's Fred Gerke, number 72.
Short of the line. The point is no good.
So I wonder if March is thinking about challenging this call here, which he can do before the kickoff.
It's about a yard short, though.
.936 remaining in regulation. It is an 18-point game. If the Rams are to attempt an onside kick, you see the line, it would have to get to the 40-yard line, go 10 yards. Of course, the Saints are anticipating the possibility as they line 6 guys up at the 40. And Wilkins descends it conventionally down inside the 5, taken at the 3-yard line by Fred McAfee. And McAfee, for a moment, broke out into the clear and then gets necktied, and a flag comes down at the 37. Todd Light with the tackle. And that's going to be a personal foul against the
Holding,
Saints.
27 of the receiving team, 10 yards, first down.
And amazingly enough, Al, that's the first penalty against Jim Haslett, Saints today. not a good time for it, as the momentum is clearly on the Rams' side. Whether they have enough time to work with it or not, we'll see.
They were flagged for one of the call, that was the running into the kicker, which was declined by the Rams, but it doesn't count unless it's accepted, and that is the first accepted penalty. The Rams have been penalized 8 times for 55 yards. Rob Kelly was the culprit. From the 23-yard line, first down and 10. And a flag before the snap. Wow.
Well, there's a big umpire.
Prior to the snap, false start, 68, 5 yards. It's still first down.
Kyle Bullet Bob Turley.
Turley's on kind of nasty side.
He's a good player. Southwest Airlines providing the aerial coverage. In fact, a lot of coaches thought that Turley should have gone to the Pro Bowl.
And he did make the All-Pro first team. So that's pretty good bookends for the Saints, him and Rope.
He's in the Church of Latter-day Saints. Is that like a Saint who gets in from the Veterans Committee?
Yes. The screen is set up. Morton and the SC rookie with a first down and all the way out past the 40 to the 44-yard line. And then another fight begins to ensue with Keith Lyle and Jerry Fontenot, but they get them apart.
And finally, the Saints throw the ball on first down. Perfect call against the pressure. Watch the Rams run and chase Chad Morton, and they're not going to find him. Sean Moran way down the field. He can't collar him.
A lot of arm tackling.
That's desperation time now. You arm tackle when you try to punch the ball out, try to create some type of turnover.
This is driving Bud Carson back into retirement.
That was a huge play after the penalty.
First and 10 at the 41-yard line, 23-yard pickup there. Now to the ground to try to eat some of the clock with Terry Allen.
They've got to eat some clock, too, because the Rams, their last drive, they went 80 yards. Warner was 4 for 4, only took 2 minutes and 21 seconds. That's how fast they can score.
Aaron Brooks, 4 touchdown passes today.
And it's been in the second half where he's been most impressive, getting time to throw. That's his first one of the day to Robert Wilson. And now a couple of laser shots. Willie Jackson. And this nice feathery touch over the top of Dexter McCleon. And finally, after the turnover, Jackson puts it away.
Well, he's setting the bar pretty high for other young QBs like Culpepper and McNabb.
Here's Allen, and he gets wrestled down after a gain of a couple up to the 43-yard line. 7.5 to go in the fourth. Aaron Brooks, 4 touchdowns. And in the first postseason game, Kurt Warner last year in the Minnesota game with 5 touchdown passes. Lynn Dickey in 82 and Aaron Brooks today. The postseason overall record, 6 by our colleague for the day, Steve Young, in the studio in New York in the Super Bowl against San Diego. And Darryl LaMonica did it in the playoff game for Oakland.
The Mad Bummer.
The vertical game.
Don't be doing that. Third down and 8 from the 43-yard line. Brooks. And that's incomplete. The pass is floating and looking around for an offensive call. Is Gray Bly, intended for Jake Reed.
Good call that time, excuse me, Dennis, but Devin Bush came on the safety blitz, and he's the reason this ball kind of fluttered down the field. Watch him hit Brooks right in the ribs. And Aaron has no idea, but he knows that it might have been picked off.
He must have one of those ab machines to pop up from that thing.
Heck, he's only 24 years old.
Yeah, right in the bread basket, though. I don't care if the bread isn't leavened. It's still the bread basket.
Toby going to punt. And Jerry Austin signaling a false start here
Offense.
on Darren Smith.
Still fourth down.
Nobody fills out a pair of slacks like Jerry Austin.
Larry Pasquale signaling into his special teams unit.
Look at that. They were just a little baggy.
Yeah, I guess that's That's some sort of fashion statement.
Gotta get Zegna in with that cut, man. You need a cut.
Goins punt. Fielded at the 26-yard line. Hakeem,
look out,
swinging it to the outside. He's going to get into Saint territory, and he is going to put the Rams right back in the game by taking the ball inside the 10 to the 9-yard line, where it's going to be first and goal with 6:34 to go.
That's just pure athletic ability by Hakeem. That return was set up for the near side or the left side of the field. He didn't like it. He went all the way around to the right side, suckered the Rams to the short side of the field, and then he picked up the picket line, and what a great return. But that's what the champs are all about. That's their special ability to make big plays.
And so all of a sudden, the Rams, who were down by 24, go in for 6 to cut it to 18, and now try to shave it even farther as they have a first and goal at the 9-yard line.
Might have went to the Teddy Koppel call a little quickly.
65-yard return. Warner intercepted at the 9-yard line by Sammy Knight, and that might be good night.
Boy, on a play when Kurt Warner had all the time in the world, Sammy Knight spying the quarterback, just reading his eyes, sitting in the middle of the field, comes up with his second pick of the day.
Well, Warner's a great player, but obviously he's not completely back from that injury.
I couldn't agree with you more, Dennis.
One play, and the Saints get it right back. Up by 18. Kurt Warner with 2 touchdowns, but 3 very costly interceptions. Sammy Knight with 2 of those. And now Aaron Brooks is going to set Jackson up on the other side, his new best friend, and then Brooks has to take a timeout.
Timeout, New Orleans, their second. It will be a 30-second timeout.
So after a long television timeout, they still have to take another TO.
Here's Sammy Knight, Al. He's coming on the safety blitz, gets blocked, and just drops in the hole right here and checks out the eyes of Kurt Warner. Timmerman blocks him too well, pushes him right past the umpire, and a one-handed snag by Sammy Knight. That is a great play. Knowing you couldn't get to the quarterback, and then just being an athlete, coming up with a one-handed snag.
And Mike Bartz, in his first season as the head coach of the Rams, his team coming in the side door for the playoffs. They're right now 6.5 minutes away from elimination as the Saints try to win that trip to the Twin Cities. When you talk about penetration, DeMarco Farr came across the line and amazingly was onside.
I tell you what, the Saints had better not relax, and they look like they're in the relaxed mode right here. DeMarco Farr jumps all over the back of Aaron Brooks and causes this fumble on the exchange to Chad Morton. Morton real lucky to fight at the bottom of that pile to get possession of this ball.
Very alertly picks it up with Wistrom coming in and nearly gave the Rams another first and goal again. Second down and 15 from the 7-yard line. And Brooks into traffic and incomplete, intended for Andrew Glover. NYPD Blue back, then is Franz Rick Schroeder. Brand new year, NYPD Blue, Tuesday, January 9th.
You know, Rick Franz was amazing on that show. Amazing.
Season premieres Tuesday, the 9th of January, right here.
Yeah, you can tell that the Saints have never been in this position before. Because right now, they are taking the big gag. Except for Sammy Knight making that interception, this offense is just totally checked out.
I mean, think about this. They take a timeout, then there's a fumble, then they go over the middle. They're taking no time off the clock, and they're backed up 3rd and 15. On the ground, Morton, and he gets taken down at the 7-yard line.
Yeah, but if you're going to gag, why not gag at 5.5 up 18?
A little skirmish up at the 20-yard line.
The Rams have 2 timeouts to go. They'll get the ball back with 5 minutes to go.
And they also get the 2-minute warning. But they need 3 possessions to tie the game or take the lead. Down by 18.
I can tell you guys have seen a lot more things in football than I have because this is over, right?
Well, you just got your hair dryer out. You
I got it out 10 minutes.
Let that baby in. Let it load.
Coppels walk today. Goins punt. Signals for a fair catch by Hakeem. Then he has to let it go, and then he picks it up. And that turns into a mess. As he's tackled back at his own 37-yard line. Should have fair caught it in Saint territory. Here's Melissa.
Well, Aaron Brooks certainly has been a star today, but it's been a long road to stardom. He was not a starter till his junior year at the University of Virginia. Scouts thought he was too timid, too shy to lead an NFL team. Not a single NFL team worked him out privately. He didn't fare well on the Wonderlic test, which is given to all NFL prospects. So he was the 9th quarterback taken in the draft, was the 3rd-string guy in Green Bay, and the Saints traded for him this year. During his first snap in training camp, Jim Haslett said that Brooks mumbled something. No one could hear him. Haslett was thinking, oh, great, the scouts were right. But you know what? Brooks has proved everybody wrong.
Aaron Brooks from Virginia. Now Warner out of northern Iowa hits Bruce, and here go the Rams again, all the way down to the 33-yard line. One other interesting thing about Brooks is he was actually drafted behind Joe Germain, who is the number 3 quarterback for the Rams right now.
Well, on a sidebar note, it's reprehensible those Wonderlic test scores get out. I mean, that's amazing to me. Do we need to know everything about each other in this culture?
What was your score?
Huh? Man, I think I had like a 1040 on the College Board.
At a W2. On 1st and 10, that is caught at the 25-yard line by Isaac Bruce. Gain of 9, out of bounds. He goes. Here's E.D.
Al, I tell you one thing that we know the Rams offense is having very much precision. And today, if you watch them, they look very off. I'm not sure if it's Kurt Warner from the concussion, but the timing has not been there. There's a lot of drop passes. There's a lot of confusion. Even on the sideline, the receivers have been over to the coaches because they're not sure what Kurt is trying to say. So I don't know what's really going on, but there's a lot of confusion in the Rams offense today.
Yeah, very, very inconsistent, except for that first drive today. 2nd and short from the 25. 4:01 remaining in regulation. Warner flush, throws over the middle. That is caught. Marshall inside the 10. Marshall to the end zone. Flag. And there's a flag down back at the 37-yard line. He indicated roughing the passer, and then he got it right. It's roughing the passer. It's against the Saints. And so the touchdown
Personal foul, roughing the passer. 99 defense. The touchdown's good. The penalty will go on the kickoff.
Again, finding Marshall Faulk at single coverage that time by Chris Oldham. Faulk is to the outside. He's going to run a little in route, and Warner's looking for him the whole way. Here comes Marshall into the picture. Great move there, and now about 12 great moves to get into the end zone.
Now the Rams will opt to go for 1. This is a pretty interesting call. They're going to get it to within 11, which means it's a field goal, a touchdown, and a 2-point conversion. If you go for 2 here, you get it to 10, which is a touchdown, a conventional conversion, and a field goal. Not a no-brainer call. Pretty interesting little thing when it's a 12-point differential at this point in the game.
Norman Hand with a cheap shot on the quarterback as Leroy Glover was bringing Warner down. But look at Kurt. He's looking for 28. Both 28. He's got his guy on their guy, and his guy's better. Nobody's better in the league than Marshall Faulk at finding the end zone. And now with this penalty, the kickoff will come from the 45-yard line. And that will be obviously a position that you would think the Rams would go for the onside kick.
Marshall Faulk had 4 cuts on that run that I'm not sure anybody else on the planet is making right now.
Guy who had arthroscopic knee surgery less than 2 months ago.
Is that an endorsement for that procedure?
I've got to find that doctor.
I think it's too late for all of us, guys. We'll never make those cuts without a knife.
ESPN.com, NFL.com, that's what you'll find there. I think the Rams figured by going for one, if they had missed it, they would have put themselves in a position where they would have needed 2 touchdowns. But by going for one, at least they're in a position where if they get a touchdown and a 2-point conversion with the field goal, they can tie the game. Here goes the onside kick attempt, and they've recovered it. Dre Bly at the 40-yard line. Perfectly executed. Flag down at the 47-yard line.
Rams are offside, Al.
Oh, boy. They are.
Their 9th penalty of the day, and this is a killer. That was so well executed. Dre Bly got that
Offside
recovery.
On the kicking team. 5 yards. Replay the kickoff.
Yeah, they had about 4 guys offside. Watch Bly come in right here. He catches this ball without any contact. The Rams were so far offside. What a killer. They've killed themselves. You go back to Knight's interception, and now you get this one.
In the league this year, when it's an anticipated onside kick, which clearly this is, the kicking team has recovered 15% of the time. About 1 time per 6 kicks. Here we go again. One more try. And this time it's a jump ball. Does Bly have it again?
Yeah, he does.
He does. He has come up with a football and no flags this time. So the Rams have it.
I think the Saints got their hands on it first, though. Might have dropped it.
Tell you, Jeff Wilkins has hit 2 unbelievably perfect onside kicks in a row. You go back to Sammy Knight's interception on Kurt Warner. Here's Bly again. He's at the bottom of this pile. Looks like Kevin Mathis had a hand for it, and there's Bly, 32. Look how high this ball bounces. That's the key.
Why is Mathis going up with one hand?
From the 47-yard line, here's Warner stepping up and into traffic, juggle and drop. Oz Hakeem couldn't hold on. 2nd and 10.
Well, here's that Sammy Knight interception that turned the Rams away. 2 possessions to go. But right now, the Rams are back in their attack mode. Warner looks sharp all of a sudden. The receivers, except for that drop pass by Hakeem, are doing a great job, too.
Desperate times call for desperate measures.
Yeah.
2nd and 10 at the 47-yard line. Rams with 2 timeouts plus a 2-minute warning. It's a swing out to Hakeem, and he's taken down. It's a good tackle by Chris Canty, staying right with him. Setting up 3rd down and 8 now. They're going to spot it at the 43-yard line, so make it 3rd down and 6. And there is a timeout taken here by the Rams. The Rams take a timeout. And here in New Orleans, Saints fans know all too well what can happen at the end of a postseason game. They're 0-4 in postseason play, but you go back to the Wildcard playoff game following the 92 season in Jan of 93. The Saints had a 20-7 lead with 2 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter, but there was Randall Cunningham throwing a touchdown pass, and the Eagles erased that deficit and went on to win the game going away 36-20.
Some pretty good players on that defense for the Eagles. Seth Joyner and Eric Allen with those 2 interceptions. But facing this offense, a whole lot tougher than facing the offense of the Eagles for the Saints.
It is 3rd down and 6 at the 43-yard line. Warner for Hakeem into double coverage, and Hakeem makes the catch at the 5-yard line. How in the world, between Hawthorne and Perry, did he pull that in 38 yards?
It's because Hawthorne and Perry didn't play the ball. The only guy going for this ball is Hakeem. Hawthorne's got his back to it. Ball perfectly tossed in there by Kurt Warner.
1st and goal from the 5-yard line. Warner flushed out. Looking, throwing to the goal line, and incomplete. Ricky Prohl was there. Sammy Knight with the coverage. 2nd and goal.
Saints are playing a little tight here, huh, Dano?
Oh, yeah.
That's,
you know,
Michael Hawthorne is hurt.
Looks like he's got a cramp in his right calf.
And keep in mind, they're already minus Alex Molden. He's out for the game.
And 7 defensive backs is a big part of their defensive package, especially when they play against the Rams, and the Rams use 4 wide receivers. And Marshall Faulk.
Hawthorne, a 6th-round pick, and Hazlitt tells me thinks he's going to be a great one down the road.
And now the crowd becomes eerily silent here at the Superdome with the Rams. 2nd down and goal from the 5-yard line. They work on Hawthorne. As you look at the aerial view of New Orleans, New Year's Day, the Rose Bowl presented by AT&T, the Huskies and the Boilermakers, Washington and Purdue from Pasadena. Then following that, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, Oregon State and Notre Dame from Tempe, Arizona.
Well, the crowd's obviously apprehensive because they realize there might be only 2 minutes and 43 seconds away from seeing Tom Benson dance.
This is why nobody wanted to see the Rams get into the playoffs. Because Kurt Warner and this offense, they expect to be able to make plays like that. They're never out of it. If there was ever a team that can put up points, we've seen the records that they have set this year. And Warner getting time to throw now. Big difference from earlier in the game. Saints pass rush has been non-existent, and Warner's been able to pick them apart.
I am on the verge of eating so much Major Crow, I cannot tell you.
It is 2nd down and goal at the 5-yard line. The Rams, not that long ago, trailing 31-7. 31-20. And 2nd and goal at the 5. Warner, who rarely runs, but this time he runs it in for a touchdown. Kurt Warner with everybody covered, coming back to this side of the field, finds the corner of the end zone, and it's 31-26.
Wow, his light went on around 15 minutes ago. He is in the zone.
And I think your hairdryer went in the bathtub.
And now you have to go for 2, down by 5. So Warner stays in to try to get them to within a field goal.
What are the chances of recovering 2 onside kicks back-to-back?
Wilkins keeps putting them where he's putting them. It's going to be hard not to recover.
At the 2, here we go for the conversion. Warner throws, and they're within 3. That's 4. You know, the Rams are actually in a position here, 1 timeout plus the 2-minute warning, you could actually consider kicking deep.
I would consider kicking deep because the Saints have checked out of this game when they had the big lead. Offensively, their offensive line has quit playing, not giving Brooks time to throw. They're not being able to run the ball. And right now, if they kick off, the Rams kick off deep to the Saints, that would be the proper move.
Well, this is reminiscent somewhat when you think back a few years ago to the Houston-Buffalo game, the 35-3 lead squandered by the Oilers as you look at the 2-point conversion. That was the greatest comeback in NFL history, down by 32. The Rams trying to erase a 24-point deficit here.
And this in a lot more condensed amount of time than that great Buffalo win.
Very much so.
Look at that, 21 points here in the 4th quarter. Kurt Warner doing it with his legs this time. But where's the Saints pass rush? There's Norman Hand. He's not going to get him. No pass rush.
Well, I think you got to get it off Glover or Howard because Big Norm's no doubt flagged by this time in the game.
Saints expecting the onside kick. It has to go to the 40-yard line, and it is Darren Smith who comes up with it at the 38-yard line. And there's a flag down. There's a flag down at the 33. And there's also a Saint down at the 45-yard line.
Kicking team, penalty is declined.
Saints will take the ball.
Boy, I don't disagree with Mike Martz very often. but I disagree with him on this one.
Yeah, you kick away, Dan?
I kick away. I let my defense play. I've got momentum. I've got a 2-minute warning. I've got a timeout, and I've got a team on the other side of the field that has lost their edge.
And that's Fred McAfee, who needs some assistance in coming off the field. Their key special teams guy.
That onside kick failure on that play right there gives the Saints hope. It gives them life. It gives them a reason to believe that they can hold the Rams off.
And if you kick deep and you hold them, you're going to get the ball back, you would think, pretty close to midfield.
And it's a matter of pressure. You apply the pressure. What the Rams just did with that play there is they eased the pressure on the Saints and Jim Haslett.
Now the Rams are compelled to use their final timeout on defense. And then they'll get one more stoppage at the 2-minute warning.
Darren Smith, the guy with a Super Bowl ring, nice play on that onside kick.
From the 37-yard line. They're going to throw. It's a backward pass, which means it was a live football if Jackson hadn't have made the catch. And now the Rams take a timeout. Wow. What about that call? Timeout Rams, second down. And it'll be 12. Orange Bowl, FedEx Orange Bowl. Coming up January 3rd. What night is that, guys? Wednesday night?
Yeah.
I lost track. National championship at stake. Oklahoma #1, Florida State #2, right here on ABC. All the big bowls. Kurt Warner, that good start, shaking mid-game, and now all of a sudden 365 yards.
Back to that call, Al, you're right. What was that call?
I don't know what that call was. I mean, not only are you throwing the ball, but you're throwing it behind the line of scrimmage. Risking the fumble, taking no time off the clock in effect.
To the sideline. The guy gets knocked out. They can stop the clock without using their timeout.
Yep. So it's second down. 13 at the 40-yard line. Rams cannot stop the clock again, but it will stop in 26 seconds for the 2-minute warning. Or before, if this is incomplete. Cook to the 36-yard line. It'll be third down and 9, and now that'll take us down to the 2-minute warning. The Rams took a 7-0 lead. Then the Saints scored 31 unanswered points. Jackson with those 3 touchdown catches. And then the comeback began. Kroll making one drive pay off to make it 31-13. Falk, the 25-yard touchdown reception. Warner, who did not run for a single touchdown during the regular season, into the end zone. 3-point game. Third down when we come back. 3rd and 9. It is third down and 9 for the Saints at the 36-yard line. The Rams cannot stop the clock. If the Saints convert here, in effect, the game is over. If they don't, hang on.
Well, I've gone from thinking it's over to thinking the Rams have enough time to score twice.
If any team can do it, you're looking at the right one. What do you think the play call is here, Dan?
I bet you that what they're going to do with Brooks is say, you got one read. If he's not there, put it under your arm, run with the ball, and then we'll punt the ball or try a field goal. But I would doubt that they would have him throw the ball unless the guy is just totally wide open. They've not been able to run the ball at all today.
Well, look at this. They're going to line up in the shotgun.
Quarterback draw is a possibility, too.
Or inside handoff.
Andrew Glover moved. That'll cost him 5.
82, offense, 5 yards, still third down.
Boy, they're not going to make it easy, are they, the Saints?
They are losing serious heat towels off the nose cone here.
This is why they've never won in this city. Some people think this city is cursed.
Well, Benson's got to quit opening an umbrella inside.
It's that 5 people below sea level thing. 3rd and 14 at the 41. Brooks out of the gun. Throws over the middle, wide open, making the catch at the 20. And then did he lose the football? No, he never had possession of the football. Robert Wilson would have had the first down, couldn't get possession and both feet down, according to the officials, who signal incomplete. Now, inside 2 minutes, there's no challenge. It goes to the guys upstairs who can take a look at this, and this is exactly what they're doing right now.
Well, the key is when he has the ball and he's contacted by Bowen here, does he have possession? If that's the case, that would be the Saints' ball. But does he have possession?
Oh, very, very close. The Saints are waiting. The Saints are waiting to punt to give the officials upstairs as much time as possible to tell Jerry Austin, which they just have, that we want to review the play.
In that look right there, it did not look like he had total possession. Ball was still moving around. From this side, it looks pretty good.
Very tremulous possession.
Bowen punches it out with his left hand. The pressure there caused that ball to be thrown high. I think that was Ray Agnew at the legs of Brooks.
Now, this cannot be ruled a fumble because the whistle blew to end the play. It's either a completion or an incompletion. If it's a completion, it's a first down, the play is over, and the game is in effect over because the Rams don't have a timeout. If it's an incompletion, it's fourth down. Since the whistle blew, it cannot be a fumble recovered by the Rams.
And the Rams are going to know how the Tampa Bay Buccaneers felt in the NFC Championship game last year. Similar type of situation.
Jerry Austin has not announced that it's being reviewed, but it is being reviewed, obviously. And he has been told. I saw him reach down to hear the buzz from upstairs. There was a key play, of course, a little bit different play last year in the NFC Championship game, Rams against Tampa. This was the Bert Emanuel play. They changed the rule because of that. Ball hitting the ground, but he had possession of it.
I'm not so sure Wilson ever quite had possession. That look there looked like the ball was still moving in his hand.
After reviewing the play, the call stands as made on the field. The receiver never had control of the football.
So he never had control of it. The call stands. Again, you need the conclusive evidence. So what the Saints also did there with the incompletion is they only took 9 seconds off the clock instead of a running play that would have taken close to 40 seconds off the clock. So it's almost the perfect scenario for the Rams. They're going to get it back with plenty of time left after the punt, which is fair. Caught at the 9-yard line and then fumbled at the 11-yard line. And who has the football? The Saints do. Oh. It's almost as if Hakeem nonchalanted the catch.
There's no almost about it, Al. He did nonchalant it.
And Hakeem, who has been prone to fumbles, as good as he is, prone to fumbles, and for just a second it almost looked as if he was unsure whether to make the fair catch or let it go, has just fumbled the ball and the ball game away.
To make the catch, to try to make the catch is the right move, because what it does is it keeps the clock from running down any farther. But the attitude of taking it easy and relaxing as this most important punt is coming to him is a mistake he'll never live down.
And there it is, the highest fumble rate in the league with 100 or more handles. And this is the way the Rams season will end. Instead of a possible 91-yard drive for a touchdown or a lot less for a field goal, the Saints will run the clock out. Brian Milne recovered the fumble. And the New Orleans Saints, at the age of 34, will finally win the first postseason game in this team's history.
And the irony of it all was Hakeem with the great punt return that got the Rams great field position and then a touchdown. He just took his eye off the ball at the last instant. And you can say goodbye to the defending champ.
And you can say goodbye because of 9 penalties and 5 turnovers. One more kneel down, and it's on to the Twin Cities for the Saints. So they will go to face the Vikings next week. The Giants will host the winner of the Tampa Bay-Philadelphia game. Miami winning today in overtime against Indianapolis, going to Oakland. And then Tennessee to host next weekend the winner of the Denver-Baltimore game.
You know, the Saints fans actually could be louder. I think they're a little stupefied. They don't quite know what a break in the postseason looks like.
They can't believe it. So the Rams comeback comes up short. And in the most improbable scenario imaginable, off a 3-13 season with a rookie head coach, with a quarterback who takes over in late November, with their main running back gone, with their primary receiver hurt in the first quarter, with a new general manager, this, I don't want to say moribund franchise, but it's been a pretty sad state of affairs in the Big Easy. And finally, after going 0 for the 1900s in postseason, the New Orleans Saints advance in the playoffs.
No, I think that's the very definition of a moribund now. Wow, this city is going to be rocking tonight.
What else is new?
They've got reason. They've got reason. They've never been in this situation before. But you're absolutely right, Al, with those penalties and the turnovers.
All right, let's go to Melissa, who's chasing Jim Haslett. Jim wants to acknowledge the Rams. There is Tom Benson, who loves to do the boogie with his umbrella.
Shut that umbrella up inside, Tommy. Come on.
Great guy. Great guy. Great beauty guy.
Let's go to Melissa.
All right, Jim Haslett, you are a first-year head coach coming here, take a 3-13 team to the first win of the playoffs. What does this mean for this organization?
Well, I think it's a great honor for the organization and Mr. Benson, and just to get a first win in playoff history. And I can't say enough about the players. I mean, they had a chance to come back and win the game, but we fought through it, and I thought we played extremely well today.
You lose another star player in Joe Warren, but you guys overcome that yet again. How do you continuously do that?
Well, that's kind of that's kind of what we do. We lose guys, and guys step in and play. Willie Jackson stepped up today, played great. Our defense played great up till the end of the game, and I can't say enough about our players.
Well, congratulations.
Okay, thanks.
Let's go over to Eric.
3 touchdowns today, showed the whole country. How did it feel? Well, it feels great. You know, it just feels great as a team. You know, we worked so hard, and at the end, we almost let it slip away, but it feels great. They almost let them come back. You know, we almost let them slip away. You know, they had momentum, and things kept happening, and we just, you know, we got a little lax. But we put up enough points to win. Good game. Congratulations. Thank you, guys.
Such improbable heroes, Aaron Brooks, Willie Jackson, and Jim Haslett has taken the Saints to Minnesota.